What's going on, Lions fans? Welcome to the Pride of Detroit PODcast, your home for all the latest and greatest Lions news, updates, analysis, and so much more. I'm your host, Miko, and in today's podcast, we are going to be reacting to some of the latest news to come out around the Detroit Lions. For example, Jack Campbell cracked the NFL Top 100 list. Jahmyr Gibbs is currently slotted as the number 2 running back in the NFL, according to NFL executives and some coaches. We'll discuss whether or not we agree or disagree. And there is a latest roster ranking out on ESPN that has the Lions rated a little bit higher than I thought they would be. But we're going to get to that and a whole lot more throughout the rest of this podcast. But before we do that, let me introduce my two amazing co-hosts. First and foremost, we have your senior editor here over at prideofdetroit.com, Ryan Matthews at Ryan_POD. Ryan, it's good to see you. I know we did the podcast last week, but I don't know. I'm back at home and it just feels like a brand new experience all over again.
Speaking of brand new experiences, what was it like recording on vacation?
Honestly, I would do it again. Like
you would do it again?
I enjoyed that more than I thought I would. I thought it would be kind of like burdensome. No. It's like it was just like, oh, another thing that I enjoy doing, I get to just do it on vacation now.
I appreciate you saying that, but maybe you're spending too much time with the third person in this room, Mr. Workaholic, Mr. Working Vacation.
Listen, I take that from our editor-in-chief over here at prideofdetroit.com, Jahmyr Reisman at Detroit Online over on Twitter, is that you never need a vacation if you just enjoy the work that you do. You just continue to just grind away.
Yes. Well done.
Yeah, or you never work a day in your life, right? Is that how the saying goes? No, but Ryan and Miko, you'd be happy to know that on my little mini vacation from Thursday to Sunday, I did not open my laptop one single time. Not once.
I think it's a lesson that, like, our listeners, if you are the type of person that you get vacation time, it's a lesson that we should all just take and embody, right? If you have to take like a laptop or a work phone, just leave it home, turn it off, let it die, and then just like never touch it again. That was like one of the things I enjoyed about my vacation is I went back to work today and I was like, oh, my work phone's dead. And it's probably been dead for like a good week and a half.
And then there's that small little fear of, well, what happens when I power it back on?
Yes.
Oh, that's not my like
buzz.
Yeah.
Buzz.
That's a problem for, future Jeremy that he can deal with.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I am also the type of person that I have no problem sitting and looking at my boss dead in his face and being like, I told you I was on vacation. I don't know what you thought. There's a reason that in my out of office message, there was not a phone number.
Oh, man.
With that said, let's jump into some Lions news. One of the biggest things to kind of come out last week is as the NFL is going through their top 100 list, which is voted upon by the players, our very first Detroit Lion player was revealed. Jack Campbell cracked the list at number 88. I believe this is Jack's first time cracking the NFL's top 100. But overall, guys, how do we feel about Jack Campbell making this list? Do we think it's a little too high, too low? For reference, Bobby Wagner came in at 81st, which I would argue is probably a little too high. But what do you guys think about Jack cracking the list at 88? Jeremy, I'll start with you.
I think it's somewhat appropriate. I mean, do I think maybe he's a little bit better than that? Do I think maybe at this point in his career he's getting close to or has surpassed someone like Bobby Wagner? Maybe. But you always have to realize that these kind of lists are always like kind of a year behind as they're more reactive than proactive. Obviously, Jack Campbell's entering year 4. The expectation is for him to only get better. And as he, I think, continues to sack seasons like he did last year, I think he'll continue to climb that list. I will say, though, like, I was a little bit surprised doing a little research on Jack Campbell's season last year. And I think it was even better than I expected. Second in tackles not really a great judgment of how good a linebacker is playing, but second in PFF grade overall amongst linebackers who I think played, I want to say 20% of the snaps last year. Fred Warner was number 1 at 93.2. Jack Campbell's 90.2. But the thing that I thought was pretty interesting about Jack Campbell's overall PFF grade was that he was in the top 20 amongst linebackers at every single aspect of linebacker play. He was number 1 in run defense. He was number 8 in tackling. He was 13th in coverage grade, which is way higher than I expected and maybe a little bit inflated than I think where his true talent lies, at least as it has lied in the past. Not saying he can't get better there. 18th in pass rush, which I think is certainly notable and something that I think the Lions might increase their use of this year. And then 19th in overall pressure. So literally top 20 in 5 different categories. And I think that speaks to just how well of an all-around player he is. A guy that you can find a role for him on every down, every distance, there's a reason why this guy, if he stays healthy, will play 100% of the snaps, is because he provides something of value in every single NFL situation. And so, I mean, if I were to list players 1 from 100, would Jack Campbell come in a little bit higher than 88? Yeah, probably. But I think, again, for one like Pro Bowl season, I think this is pretty appropriate for him.
Well, not just a Pro Bowl season, Ryan, but also an All-Pro season. And so, like, I think that for me is why I was a little shocked that he came in so low. But I think for anyone that's followed these lists, like for players that crack the list for the first time, specifically like defenders or like non-premium positions, you're probably going to start out a little bit lower on the list than you probably realistically should be based off of the performance you had, like Jeremy said.
Yeah, and how much sizzle is there to Jack Campbell's game from an outsider perspective? Like, what kind of like spectacular Sports Center top 10 plays is Jack Campbell making that stand out above the rest? I don't know if there's like I don't know if I can name like 5. Oh, these are my top 5. If someone list casted right now and said, give me your top 5 Jack Campbell plays, I don't know if I have 5 Jack Campbell plays, but I can say definitively and without a doubt, he probably should be way higher on this list. Like, I would be really interested to go back and see. I know this is putting him in rare air, but I'd like to see where Luke Kuechly placed the first time he made this list. And then, by the time things were all said and done, Luke Kuechly was widely, revered and recognized as one of the, 10 best players in the NFL. Position be damned. Like, Jack Campbell is someone who led the NFL amongst linebackers in PFF's defensive stops. So like plays that result in a failure for the offense, Jack Campbell had 68 of them, first place. And he was also, he had the 14th best missed tackle rate amongst linebackers. And that's including some linebackers who played, half the snaps that Jack Campbell did. Those are linebackers who played, way less than he did. So I think that Jack Campbell's game is going to continuously be underappreciated, and it's going to take, as you guys have mentioned, stacking these years on top of years for people to say like, oh yeah, Jack Campbell is that dude at that position. I wouldn't be surprised, Miko, if that happens by next year. Like I would venture to guess that he's going to be a top 50 NFL player by next year on this list.
Yeah, I feel. Go ahead.
I just want to jump in really quick about Kuechly because I think it was an interesting point. He was 79th his second year in the NFL in 2013. The next year, he jumped to 15.
I don't know if that will happen, Miko, but like I definitely think like 88's far too low. Bobby Wagner being at 81, that's kind of the career lifetime achievement award. Like you continue to put in the top 100. I think Jack Campbell's a top 50 player in the NFL.
Well, yeah, and not to throw any type of shade at Bobby Wagner because he's done it at a high level for so long, and I think there is an aspect of it where it's like you said, whether it's a legacy thing or if it's just like that dude's this old and he's still performing at a really high level. Like that's the type of stuff that, like, again, no shade to Bobby Wagner, but yeah, there is an element of this where I look at what Jack has done specifically in that season, and it's like this is a guy that's like statistically and just eye test wise has gotten better every single year. And so it wouldn't surprise me, Jeremy, that like by this upcoming season, if Jack is healthy and he's continuing to play at the level that he is, granted that the rest of the defense is playing well too, that you see him make a pretty sizable jump in a list like this, which I think it's another thing to also keep in mind that there is an element of like all-star voting that kind of goes in this where it's like there's a little bit of popularity that probably plays into this, and it kind of feeds off of what Ryan said where Jack Campbell's not the biggest personality, but he's the guy that's like he's the throwback linebacker that he's probably been pinned as since the day he got drafted, where it's like that dude's just gonna go out there and play football.
Yeah. And I think Ryan's point is the most salient in terms of like his appreciation, which is like these splashy plays are not there in terms of highlight reel stuff in terms of like turnover stuff too, right? Like he doesn't have an interception yet in his career. He did force 3 fumbles last year, which was a big step in the right direction. He did recover 2 fumbles. So like in a way you are responsible for at least, I don't know how many of those forced fumbles he recovered on his own, but somewhere between 3 and 5 turnovers, which is okay. But it's not splashy. It's not, I don't want to say game changing, because having a down to down linebacker that is arguably the best run defending linebacker in the NFL is a game changing element, is a game changing player
on a team that prioritizes stopping the run.
Right.
Jack Campbell's very important. There's a reason why he was the first player in the 2023 class to ink an extension.
Right. But before we start putting him in the conversation of Luke Kuechly, like he needs to have a bigger impact. Luke Kuechly had 4 interceptions in his second season. Luke Kuechly had 3 sacks in his third season. He had 12 passes defended in that third season.
Jack Campbell had 5 sacks. And I think what's most impressive about Campbell's sacks, though, is that he had 87 pass rushing snaps.
Yeah.
So he had 5 sacks on 87 pass rushing snaps. Like, if there's room or opportunity to do some more of that, I'm sure that they would love to put Jack in those situations because he's a smart guy.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think he has a lot of room to grow in his coverage, even though his PFF coverage grade was high. He only has 10 passes defended. Like I said, Luke Kuechly had what did I say, 12 in just his third season. Mm-hmm. So there's room for him to grow. There's room for him to become a more dominant player, more well-rounded player, even though I think he's already at a very strong high level. So I don't think I'd put him as a top 50 player right now, but I think he is definitely above 88, but just he needs to stack together years to get that national recognition.
My last number, Miko, my last number I have to say is that he had 176 tackles, and I know that we're far and away from saying that you can measure a player's worthiness by how many tackles they rack up, but if you have 176 tackles, and according to PFF, you only missed 12, my goodness, and you led the NFL in defensive stops, who's getting by you? Almost nobody is getting by Jack Campbell if Jack Campbell's coming to stop you.
I was going to say, like, that's a ridiculous number. And again, I think there's always that portion of fans that are like, well, if a linebacker has that many tackles, then like, what is everybody else doing? And it's like, that's fair. The Lions defense wasn't great, but I think that only puts a brighter light on like how good Jack was. That like with a defensive front and a secondary that struggled at times, there were so many weeks last season where it was very obvious that Jack Campbell was the best player on the field defensively, and that included a guy like Aiden Hutchinson also being on the field.
Yeah. And I think it says a lot to how the Lions approach their defense to do what you're saying there. Like, the reason why he's the best player and he's stacking up all these stats is because the way they play on their defensive front is occupy gaps so that guy can run free. Let's play our defensive front in a way that maximizes Jack Campbell's strengths, which is his run defense, which is him running downfield. Let's have these, nose tackles that eat up space in Tyleek and Roy Lopez and DJ Reader, and then just let Jack Campbell run free. And I am curious how or if that's going to change this year a little bit. I think there's going to be a little bit more pressure on some of the interior guys to maybe cause some disruption on their own. What does that mean for Jack Campbell? Does that mean he's going to have to do a little stack and shed? Does that mean he's going to be doing other things like dropping into coverage more often? Although he did drop into coverage the 8th most of any linebacker last year as well. So it's not like that's an unfamiliar part of his game. So things could change a little bit here for him this year, given the fact that there's been a lot of personnel changes, particularly on the defensive interior. But do I have any lack of faith that Jack Campbell won't be able to step up to the moment? Of course not. Like, he's shown growth every single year, and there's no reason to expect a step back this year.
I do wonder if we'll see a step back, though, and speaking of that, of like the number of Lions that we see on this list this year. You look at the list last year, the Lions had Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, and Sam Laporta all cracked the top 100. 2 of those guys clearly are probably not going to be on this list just because of the fact that they didn't play full seasons and they dealt with injuries, and the fact that we're already in the 80s. So like the likelihood that the likes of Kirby Joseph or Sam Laporta making this list aren't very high. I feel like the other guys that we mentioned are kind of a shoo-in, but do you expect, Ryan, there to see like any drop off or anyone ranked drastically higher or lower than they were a season ago?
I can definitely see, and I've earned this reputation, so I'll just say it, but like Goff is going to be a little bit lower. I think
he was 15 last year.
he was 15. B, team success is so tied to the quarterback that if the Lions don't achieve the team success, then the quarterback's ranking is going to drop. I don't know. I feel like Penei Sewell is probably just going to be a top 20 player always, so he'll be somewhere in there. I don't see him dropping off too far. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Are there other receivers that are potentially going to jump him that were behind him? I'd have to probably look a little bit closer at last year's list, but I could see him hovering around 20, where he was at a year ago.
Yeah, like Jackson Smith and Jigba will jump him, right?
Sure. That's definitely on the table. And then the one I think that takes the biggest jump, though, is probably Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Like, I think Jahmyr Gibbs, you might be looking at a guy who could be in the top 10.
Yeah, 27 last year. I think he's a shoo-in for the top 20. Probably a shoo-in for the top 15, honestly.
I was going to say, which is crazy to think about, because the year that he was 27, like, he put up better numbers than he did this past season. And so it's like, we're talking about a dude jumping up potentially, 15 to what, 12 spots, 12 to 15 spots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But unlike Jack Campbell, a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs highlights that come across on social media. There's a lot of things you see Jahmyr Gibbs do where you're like, oh, that guy is for sure great.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. I think the one question mark is going to be Hutch, right? Like last year he came in at 55, and I like, again, coming back from the injury, and I think he still had a great season. It's going to be interesting to see, once again, because this is the player's perspective of like, how does the league view the likes of Aiden Hutchinson across the league?
I think he'll have a small bump up because, that list last year was like, okay, well, he missed all of that season. We don't know what he's going to look like. There's probably a little bit of out of sight, out of mind when the players are voting on this, because by the time they were, Aiden Hutchinson was already off the field because of injury. He posted 14 and a half sacks last year, which was 4th in the NFL. I think that was a confirmation that he's going to be just fine. He's still a guy you can count on for basically at least 14 sacks a season. I mean, that was a career high for him. I know it feels like that was just kind of like a ho-hum season for him, but it was 4 or 3 sacks more than he's had in a season. So I think he jumps back up. And I'm trying to rack my brain to think if there's anyone that wasn't on the list that could be on this year's list outside of Jack Campbell. I think the answer is no, right?
Not that I can think of. I mean, Brian Branch has yet to make this list yet, but once again, a guy who missed a good portion of the season due to injury. I also wonder if BB's gonna have an uphill battle just because of perception across the league of how like other players feel about him. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, the rest of that offensive line outside of Penei Sewell kind of was like, a cast of guys, like to be as respectful as I can be.
What number are we at right now? Do you know where they're at?
Somewhere around 80.
Number-wise?
Yeah, because I think they take a break during the weekend. So I think they're still about to crack the 70s.
Okay. Jameson Williams? Like an outside shot. That's why I wanted to know what number we were at, because if we were like deep into the 70s, maybe not. But if we're just turning the corner on 80, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, they just announced.
Again, I'm not.
Sorry, they just announced 80 and 79 on Monday, who were AJ Brown and Travis Kelce.
Whoa. AJ Brown being that low on the list is kind of, I can't remember what kind of season AJ Brown had, but like that's a little shocking. I will say this, and it's a little bit of a peek into like our second segment, but if Rome Odunze is on this list and Jameson Williams isn't, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna let you guys know right now.
I don't think Roman's gonna be on the list. I think Caleb Williams is gonna be higher than most people believe he should be. And in fact, I would not be surprised if Caleb Williams is higher than Jared Goff on this list.
Well, yeah, I think it goes back to like what we were talking about, like what you said in terms of, or what Ryan said in terms of like quarterback success. So the quarterback that is successful is just going to be viewed. And I think there's going to be people like, well, just talent, right? So it's like the talent plus the success, and they're just going to put him a little bit higher. But we'll get to discuss what we think about Caleb Williams as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC North in the second segment here. The other thing that we do need to talk about, though, we talked about Jahmyr Gibbs possibly making a big jump in the NFL Top 100 list. He made a pretty big jump in the NFL executive and coaches and scouts list that ESPN put out. I believe last year he was like third.
Yeah.
Third or fourth. He moved up a little bit to second, but there were a lot of people, Jeremy, that like argued that he may be the best running back just behind Atlanta's Bijan Robinson. What were your kind of thoughts of seeing and reading some of the things that execs have to say about Gibbs?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, right? Because of everything you just said earlier, which is that wasn't Jahmyr Gibbs' best season. You know, in terms of efficiency, in terms of explosive play rate, in terms of just overall yardage, like last year was better or was worse than the year before it. Of course, I think we can all pretty fairly look at the situation around him and say, well, he wasn't dealing with the best offensive line. He wasn't dealing with the best play caller. He wasn't dealing with the best, the offense just wasn't operating in a way that we've been accustomed to seeing. And I think in a way, though, that does kind of make everything a little bit more impressive about his 2025 season. The fact that, if you look at explosive play rate, it usually just counts runs of 10 or 15 yards, which Jahmyr Gibbs finished middle of the pack in, maybe even a little bit towards the bottom. But the thing is, every time he busted out a 10 to 15 yard run, it suddenly became an explosive. And his like ratio of 10 plus yard runs that were also 30 plus yard runs was way higher than everyone else. And I think that speaks to his true talent. I think that's what people see. And that's what certain people certainly see when they look at highlight reels and things like that. So I did think it's still like a little bit surprising to me. Maybe not surprising is the right word, but eye-opening to me to see him ranked above kind of legacy running backs like Saquon, like Christian McCaffrey, like Jonathan Taylor, like Derrick Henry, all those guys ranked 3 through 6. But it's also hard for me not to argue that like this is the new kind of era of running backs. This is the new class of running backs, and Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson are 1A and 1B in most people's mind, and I certainly get it.
Ryan, I don't know about you, but like I don't have a huge issue with seeing Bijan above Gibbs, but for me personally, it feels like it's those two guys, and like I don't want to say it's a huge gap, but I think it's a noticeable enough gap for me at this point now where it's like it's those two guys and then everybody else. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to the likes of Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey, but it feels like those two guys, maybe it's youth, but just seem to be working at a different pace and explosiveness than other running backs that we're seeing across the league right now.
I'm trying to remember. I think we're just at a time right now where there is a lot of running back talent in the NFL. Like spoiled levels of running back talent. It seemed like the yesteryears of a running back has a year or two and they're here and they're gone. For the better part of the past 10 years, it's been there's a Derrick Henry, there's a Saquon Barkley, there's a Christian McCaffrey. And even if there's a year where there's injuries or the team bottoms out, Christian McCaffrey ends up in San Francisco and Derrick Henry ends up in Baltimore, and Saquon Barkley ends up in Philly, and they have like a second half to their careers that didn't happen even in the first half of their careers, right? And I think we've just become so accustomed to the shelf life of a running back being so small. It's where I'm at with Gibbs, where it felt like it was the best of all possible situations to have a guy like David Montgomery to help keep that run going and have more sustained success. But the way that Jeremy described Jahmyr Gibbs right there just reminded me of Barry Sanders. Like the efficiency, right? Like the touches, like the yards on touches, even though some of the plays that may have gone for a loss or gone for 0 yards, there was an explosive play that that completely made you forget about the 2 or 3 previous plays that didn't work. And just looking at their numbers side by side, and I know it's a very small sample size for Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's had more receiving and rushing touchdowns in a season than Barry Sanders ever had. He had 20 in 2024, and then he had 18 in 2025. And in 2024, he averaged 6.4 yards per touch. Barry Sanders did that once, and it was in 1997, the year where he rushed for over 2,000 yards. Like,
yeah,
we're talking, and I know it's an extra game, so you get more opportunities, but I'm also talking about averages and
yards per touch is not influenced.
But you're also But you're also talking about a guy that has been splitting time. Like one of my the favorite quote from this article is he's got 39 rushing touchdowns in 3 years while splitting time.
Splitting time
it's
with
crazy.
with a goal line back.
Right.
Like not even just a goal line back, but like an efficient, like just equally as efficient running back in David Montgomery. Like that's the part that's crazy to me about Jahmyr Gibbs. Like we all see the talent flash whenever, like you said, whenever he makes these explosive plays. He's been able to be this dynamic and this explosive while still sharing the backfield with another running back that is just as dynamic, which is again a testament to how Lions fans felt when David Montgomery was traded away, because it's like you had two guys that were working highly efficiently, aside from like last year where they kind of tilted things way more heavily Jahmyr's way. But it does make you wonder how far away he is from taking that top spot. And according to at least the way that this article was worded, Jeremy, it's not that far-fetched to think that he could be a season away from being recognized as the best running back in the league.
Yeah, I mean, statistically in those 3 years, he's right up there with everybody. Those 39 rushing touchdowns you're talking about over the last 3 years, that's second in the NFL. And that's with David Montgomery eating up another 33 rushing touchdowns over that exact same time. Which, I mean, I'm sure that puts him amongst the top 10 as well. So, assuming, I don't know what, 10, 20, 30% of those opportunities now go straight to Jahmyr Gibbs, yeah, like he has an opportunity to suddenly put up the kind of stats that Bijan is in Atlanta, because Bijan is mostly the lead back. There is no 1B to Bijan. Like, there are guys there that are getting some snaps, but not at the clip that David Montgomery was getting. And obviously the Lions have made it clear that Gibbs is their guy moving forward, and Pacheco will have a very much a complementary role, but not at the levels we're used to seeing. And granted, towards the end of last season, Gibbs was kind of the feature guy, and really most of last season he was. But I think the scales are going to be tipped even more in Gibbs's favor, and assuming that the Lions can get into better situations and run the ball more in the second half than they did last year, that's even more opportunities than he had last year. And so, yeah, I mean, statistically, you could see Gibbs's game take even another bigger step. But it's always like, if you're arguing about running back efficiency, it's more about the yards per touch, the yards per carry, the success rate. All those things took a step back last year. You hope that with some offensive line additions, that it increases the efficiency on top of the opportunities. So if you increase the opportunities by making him the bell cow back, you improve the offensive line and improve his efficiency, then we're talking about a scary, scary potential for 2026 in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kind of switching gears here and moving over to the Lions roster being ranked 6th. Like, what I'm hearing from you is like, if this supporting cast can be that much more improved, right? Specifically the offensive line and the offense as a whole, just being more efficient and getting into better downs and distances, it opens itself up to Jahmyr Gibbs getting even more opportunities. But according to ESPN, this was the one that really surprised me. I think the other two things that we talked about, I think there's a little bit of shock in Jack being ranked so low. Jahmyr being second and, being seen as the second best running back was about what I expected. But the Lions being considered to have the 6th best roster in the NFL, according to this article by ESPN, Jeremy, that one kind of caught me off guard. I would love to be that optimistic. If we were just talking about the offense, I'd be in full agreement. If we're talking about the entire roster, we have some discussing to do.
Yeah, no doubt. So this list was created by Mike Clay, Aaron Schatz, and Seth Walder. Mike Clay has been, ranking rosters for years, and he even put out kind of a I think he has a long-running roster list and rankings and stuff like that. And even earlier this offseason, he had the Lions 4th on his own. But this is kind of like a consensus roster ranking amongst those three, if you will. I imagine Clay is probably pulling a lot of the 6 overall ranking here. But I'm with you, Miko. I'm not so sure I have the Lions that high. I'm bullish on their offense, particularly when it comes to some of the offensive line improvements, and most importantly, I think the offensive coordinator improvement. I don't think they lost much in terms of overall talent. Dave Montgomery is going to take a chunk out of it. Khalif Raymond, maybe not as much. But defensively, I am day by day getting less and less confident, if we're being completely honest. Like, I feel like they are going to have to rely hard on that front 4 to carry the load here, because I have so many questions about the back 7. I don't need to I need to continue to repeat myself week after week, but there are just so many ifs. If Derek Barnes can live up to his billing, if DJ Reed can look the same he did before the hamstring injury, if Aleem McNeil looks as he did before, if Tyleik Williams takes a year or 2 jump, if Kirby Joseph stays healthy, if Ennis Rakestraw takes a year 3 jump. Like, there's just too many things that have to go right for me to be confident. Now, of course, every NFL roster has questions, right? There are weaknesses on every single roster, but if I'm looking at some specific teams that are under the lines that I think might have a better roster, I look at the Denver Broncos, who have a really good offensive line, some big playmakers on defense. Their skill position players aren't what the Lions are, but like, they have some dudes out there. I look at the 49ers, for some reason, are 11th in this list. I'm kind of surprised by that, because I think their defense has a ton of playmakers. Their offense has a lot of playmakers, and they have a really good coach that can put it all together. I know maybe coaching doesn't take priority here in a roster rankings per se, but I think those are just 2 teams that I'd probably put over the Lions at this point, given the many, many, many questions I have for Lions defense.
You're muted.
Ryan, it also feels like there's a level of projection that the writers at ESPN are kind of doing here with, like, these, technically they're starting lineups. We keep saying roster. These are technically starting lineups that they're kind of doing here, because when you look at the Lions starting lineup, they're slotting Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch as the starting safeties. And we obviously know, as those of us that are covering the team, you're not going to probably have both of those guys at the start of the season. We don't know how much Kirby Joseph you're going to get in the first place. So, like, for me, that's another reason why, like, I don't know if I can be this optimistic about the entire roster as a whole.
Yeah, well, you look at the Green Bay Packers, and they have the 10th best roster, but they have Micah Parsons slated as a starter. We know that he won't be available until well into October and maybe even November. So there's some uncertainty with that, but I think they get BB back. There is a leap of maybe faith in Kirby Joseph being a starting safety, but I think that the Lions could jump a team that's in the top 5. I think that the Lions might have a more talented football team than the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm very intrigued to see what their offense looks like after A.J. Brown, and I know that he became persona non grata in Philly, but even just the threat of A.J. Brown on the outside is a lot to be reckoned with. I know they tried to address it in the draft and everything, but I look at, if there's a team, if we look at it the other way, because I agree with Jeremy in the sense that, like, I think Denver has like a better team, probably front to back, outside of some of the skill positions, and then also quarterback is kind of a question. I mean,
Sure.
Bo Nix looked good, but he also looked human, and coming off the nasty injury that he had in the playoffs. But I think the only other team behind them in the top 10 that I think they're like a quarterback away is the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans, if they had a quarterback, they would have won the Super Bowl last year. And their defense is just as good as it was a year ago. So
Yeah.
those are the teams I see behind them. But I don't know, is there another team? Like, I think the Patriots are kind of overvalued behind the Lions, but I think we can agree that the Rams are a more talented football team, top to bottom, than the Detroit Lions.
It is interesting that I'm kind of with you on the Eagles, because that offense was atrocious last year, and it doesn't look that much better on paper, if at all. And they have them 2nd overall.
Second is pretty high. That's like,
It's pretty high.
The second best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
it feels like a good amount of like past success is kind of carrying the Eagles when you look at, because I think like when you look at what they have with the Eagles, it's like the expectation that like, hey, the offensive line is going to be better than it was last year, right? Like you're going to have Lane Johnson and he'll be completely healthy. That defense has found ways of just being successful. You added Jonathan Grenard. Like there's enough there with the Eagles that I'm like, I'm with you guys in the sense of like questioning what their passing attack is going to look like. You know, you're stepping away from AJ Brown and you're sliding in Mekhi Lemon and Dontavian Wicks. But if we're just going based off of like, well, I think the offensive line will be better and I think this defense is still stacked, that's to me why like a team like the Eagles are probably still slotted at second. Because there's not, I mean, Jeremy, I think you just said it like not too long ago, like you have a lot of questions about the Lions defense, and I think that's where there's the big difference between the Eagles and the Lions.
I just have the Lions offense a lot better than the Eagles offense. So like to me the scales are almost tipped evenly because I think the Eagles defense is way better than the Lions defense, but I also think the Lions offense is way better than the Eagles offense.
I totally forgot that the Eagles traded for Jonathan Grenard during the draft.
Yeah.
If he can return to form, then yeah, that defense is going to be a you know what. But I do have some serious questions about their offense.
I will say, and maybe we can move on after this, but the one thing that I found interesting about the Lions starting lineup was who they had at defensive tackle as starting. Either of you surprised that they went with Levi Onwuzurike over Tyleik Williams?
I mean, yeah, that's not going to be accurate. Obviously, if they're in 5-man fronts, you could get all three of them with Aleem McNeil out there on the field. But yeah, no, that's. I think maybe there's a perception outside of Detroit that Aleem McNeil and Tyleik Williams are going to play the same position, but that's not true. I mean, they're interchangeable in a lot of ways, but they're not. They're going to be out there at the same time all the time.
I was surprised by that, Miko, but I was even more surprised that they listed Jameson Williams as a starting wide receiver, considering Aaron was part of putting together this list. But sorry, I had to work it in.
Before we move on, can we talk about the rest of the NFC North? Because I find those rankings fascinating. You mentioned the Packers were 10th, but the next highest team is 17th for the Chicago Bears. Everyone's kind of like somewhat darling of the NFC North, obviously returning champs. What do you make of that?
You think 17th is impressive for the Bears?
No,
I was like, oh, that's about.
They're the returning NFC North champs, Miko, and they're in the back half of the league. That's crazy to me.
It's about where I expected them to be.
Really?
Being completely honest. Listen, man, like just success can happen, but I think there's enough things with that team where you were just like. There were enough things on like that you saw when this team played where you're just like, they're not as good as their record says. And I think people know that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I kind of see Jeremy's point when you look at the three teams ahead of them. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Dallas Cowboys.
I
probably like the Cowboys roster better than the Bears.
I love the Cowboys offense. Their defense is still a very big work in progress, but I think that 17 is probably too low, but I don't know how much higher I would have them, I guess. Like I see those three teams and I'm like, yeah, but then the Chargers, the Chiefs, the 49ers, now you're getting into the tier of football team that I think the Bears aren't as good as. So like I could see them maybe being interchangeable with the Chargers, but there's that ceiling that I definitely don't think they belong to. Like I think that next tier might be like 12 with the Chiefs. Like once you reach there, like the Bears couldn't be any higher than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of the same defensive questions that I think the Lions do. Obviously, that's the area where I think we could see the most regression with their ridiculous turnover rate last year. Not to mention they lost a couple of safeties in the offseason. I don't really like much of what's going on their defensive line. TJ Edwards is a good linebacker, but I'm not that big of a Devin Bush or Noah Sewell fan. But the offensive line is still really good. We're going to talk about some of their skill positions players in the next segment here where we're ranking the skill position players in the division, so I don't want to get too far in there. But, like, the offense worked last year. It was pretty darn good. It wasn't, elite. It wasn't – I think Ben Johnson gets a little bit more credit than the actual numbers justify, but it was a huge improvement. And I think there's reason to believe that all of these players could – improve upon that in year 2 under a new system.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like I said, I think there's enough to look at there and just be like you said, the defense is a little bit more bare than it was last year. No pun intended. Um, and I have questions about can that offense replicate the success that they had a season ago, right? Like it's not. I don't want to like use it as an excuse, but it is the reality. Like you played a fourth place schedule, so there's always going to be an element of like, well, you were playing some of the worst teams, some of the worst defenses. So there is an element of like maybe you just got the better of a bunch of teams that just weren't as talented as you were, and you were able to make the most out of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. I think the Bears and the Vikings are both kind of where I would expect them to be. And at the end of the day, having high expectations of a team that just hasn't really proven enough isn't really something that I'm like really looking forward to. I try to keep my expectations on like places like Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, places that like, really kind of deliver on being a premium snack and always having the best quality protein for you. And the Pride of Detroit podcast is brought to you by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. It's the jerky that fuels the Pride of Detroit POD cast. Each 2-ounce bag of jerky has 16 to 20 grams of protein, and each stick has 8 grams. Trust me, if it's good enough for the Lions, it's going to be good enough for you too. Righteous Felon is based in Westchester, Pennsylvania. They use locally sourced, all natural Black Angus beef and prides itself on superior quality, revolutionary branding, and unique flavors that go beyond the stereotypical jerky offering. I'm happy to be back home because I was able to like dip back into my jerky stash. I still had plenty of Truffalo Bill. I still had a couple duo sticks. And again, I didn't pack enough for my trip in Florida, but now being able to be back, have some, and I can actually start the process of stocking up even more because listen, it's a long off season and I'm finally back to being able to eat a relatively balanced diet. So I'm going to be heading over to righteousfelon.com. I'm going to use the promo code POD15 at checkout, which is exactly what you should do as well to get 15% off your order. Again, that's promo code POD15 at righteousfelon.com. When we come back, we're going to do what Jeremy mentioned a little bit earlier. We're going to start ranking the NFC North rosters, and we're starting with skill positions. That's quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. So stick around for that. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more right after this.
All right. We're on break, which means we'll chat with our live audience here, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. Before we do that, I have some alerts to get in just a few here. Pseudo Sofer, thank you for the 20 months subscribed to the Twitch channel, says, let's go. Captain James Kirk 25-bit says, week 4 of asking for a Miko emote. I was on vacation last week. I'm going to be on vacation again later in the week.
Can you hear him? You didn't open his laptop at all.
Didn't open my laptop at all. Also, make an emote for me, and I'll just put it in. 80 Jerome, thank you for the 18 months. Says, using my Bezos bucks to celebrate the Eddie Drummond anniversary, which is always a great reminder that, hey, do you want to support the Pride of Detroit podcast and not cost you a single thing?
Yeah.
Hey, well, I hope you're already an Amazon Prime subscriber. Otherwise, stop listening. Because if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, guess what? You can make a Twitch account if you already have a Twitch account. Link your Amazon Prime account to that, and you can subscribe to us for free. You get one free Twitch subscription every single month. All you have to do is click the sub button, then use the little Prime Gaming check mark, hit sub, and that's it. You sub to us in a way that pays us the same way a paid subscription pays for us. No cost to you, probably takes about 5 minutes of your time total. We'd appreciate it. End of promo. End of alerts. I'm sorry. No, Captain James Kirk with another 25-bit says, do my job for me, customers. That's right.
See, that's one way of looking at it. It's also another way is like, hey, you could be the person that creates the emote that people will be using, and we'll be like, hey, did you guys know that our faithful listener so-and-so made that?
Yeah. You could be famous.
You could just be part of the show.
Brian Shepard, right?
That's right. Our theme composer. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it sounds right.
No, that's like, I think that's a very official title.
Yeah. D-Turk, thank you for the 9 months subscribed on Twitch using that Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. All right, we have a Lions question here from Mixmaster Matt. It says, would love to hear y'all's take on free safety versus strong safety terms in lieu of right safety versus left safety. Motion on 66% of plays. These roles titles seem silly because they must be interchangeable. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about how the Lions utilize them, there's certainly a delineation. They want their guys to be able to do both, but there's certainly guys that they prefer to have towards the line of scrimmage as more of a strong safety versus a free safety. And a lot of times as the offense will, motion, so will the defense. And I think that's something that the Lions and particularly Kelvin Shepherd want to be better at this year, is adjusting on the fly, is being a better communicating team pre-motion. They want to have, this is something that they really tried last year, and I think they had some success and didn't have some success. They really tried to have multiple solutions ready on the go for any sort of substitution, any sort of pre-snap motion. They have keys, they have rules that when this guy goes from here to here, suddenly you're taking this guy, suddenly you're taking that guy. That goes for corners, that goes for linebackers, that goes for safeties. So I can't say what it means for every single team out there, but I would say the Lions, more so than they have in the past, I think have relied on a free safety versus strong safety, even if they believe they want their guys to play both or be capable of playing both. I mean, you can hide things better, right, if you're capable of playing both.
Yeah. They definitely, I agree that they do probably lean more heavily to, the actual free safety, strong safety usage. But that's what makes Kirby and BB so good, is that they literally can be interchangeable in either responsibility. It's just, for whatever reason, opposing offenses play in such a way where it allows the Lions to, when Kirby is healthy, he's able to just be that single high safety, and it really very much plays into his skill set.
Yep.
Not saying that BB couldn't, but it looks a lot better and it functions a lot better. But in the opposite end of that, whenever they are allowed to, have Brian Branch creep up to the line of scrimmage and play closer to the line of scrimmage as a strong safety, it very much leans to his strengths. So,
yep. And you want to be able to do both. You want to be able to trick offenses all you want, but at the same time, you don't want to take Kirby Joseph out of that middle fielder type of role too much, because he's had so many
where all those turnovers happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that's, again, it's why when he's healthy, when he is or was healthy, it is one of the things that I don't think we probably talked about enough with Kirby, is the fact that they could still do stuff like that with him, where they're oh, we're going to creep up Kirby to the line. So it's oh, well, he's probably blitzing, and he's so athletic that he can still cover deep third after almost being next to Jack Campbell.
Yeah. Ice Cecil, 56
that
months.
Sure was great. I loved watching that.
Don't use the past tense yet.
I know, but come on. It's just
but we didn't get
sad.
to see it much.
I know.
I just want
to.
Ice
It's
Cecil.
just every time his
ahead.
name gets brought up. It's just every time Kirby Joseph's name gets brought up, and it has that air of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And it's just I do remember how great that was. ESPN thinks he's going to be right back there. You know what? I'm going with ESPN's projected starting lineup. Kirby Joseph, 17 games. Let's go.
To be fair to this, like they mentioned the Lions' biggest weakness is their secondary, and mentions all this uncertainty.
Injuries, yeah.
And they conclude this has the potential to be a very good group, but questions will need to be answered. Which I think is fair.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad. Get through alerts.
No, I just have one more. Icy, so with the 56 months subscribed on Twitch, says my Joe Schmidt Pat Swilling anniversary. Then we're caught up.
So
answer the Lions question.
Ryan, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Ryan, since you're also married. Did your wife let you light fireworks on 4th of July?
Even if if my wife wanted me to light fireworks on 4th of July, I would say no.
So the funniest thing happened to me, like, so celebrating 4th of July with my family, and friend of the family was like, "Hey, Miko, can you help me light fireworks?" And I'm just like, "Well, no one else is like." My stepdad was busy on the grill and stuff like that. I'm like, "Sure." Like, it was getting dark. They wanted to start them for the kids. I was like, "Sure, I'll start them." I lit like 2 fireworks, and from across the yard, I can hear my wife yelling, "Get away from there!"
Yeah,
I want you guys to know it was probably the most like it was the most embarrassing thing I had felt as a grown man. Because
I
it
was gonna say
reminded-
very, very much of being a child, right?
right, yeah, of like your mom like catching you somewhere where you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, but like also within her right.
Oh, sure. Like
Yeah.
I understand the thought process. It was one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, I wish this could have been a text message.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And that people
you
didn't
want
have to
you wanted
And-
that this could have been an email with your wife.
Yeah, like instead of people like visually seeing her power walk across half an acre.
And you kind of just
And I'm
Swap.
trying to see like how fast I can get another firework like lit and set off before she gets to me.
oh, I don't know. I don't like the like. I like fireworks. I'm for them, but also, I'm for there being like there needs to be a moratorium on it. Like we can only do fireworks for so long. Like
Yeah.
I'm very over the anxiety that my dog has had for the past week. Like just going and he basically like lives in the basement after 8:30 p.m. And also another
Yeah.
thing, why are we lighting fireworks before it's dark? There's no reason. You're
Ryan,
That's
because
fair.
You're too
because
impatient.
darkness lives in like NBA finals time, where it's like, okay, you have to wait till 11 p.m. now until it's actually dark.
Oh no, Saturday was a long day. Like
Yeah.
keeping the kids going until 10:30. And it's like, oh, now the fireworks have started. Yeah.
I was gonna say like the time limit that I feel like the window in which you're given to like be able to light fireworks feels like it's getting shorter. Or like it's either starting later or something, but it was like yeah, it kind of dawned on me when I was asked. Shout out to Marcus because he actually does listen to this podcast. So shout out to you. When he asked me, it was like the realization of like, oh, much like the passing of the torch of like eventually someone else has to take over the grill. Somebody else eventually has to take over the responsibility of lighting fireworks. And it's like, which brave soul is going to lay down their life for this? And apparently it's not allowed to be me.
I'm gonna be old curmudgeon-y. I don't like fireworks guy.
At all, zero whatsoever.
Nah, not really.
Yeah, they're not.
I used
really
to.
For it. They're not for us.
They're not for us. I understand
I was gonna say, yeah,
that.
they're definitely not.
I think we need to start pushing drone shows on children.
I mean, in all
they're
honesty,
safer. They cause less PTSD in dogs and veterans. They're far less dangerous. Now, I understand you can't like orchestrate your own drone show in your backyard,
This is true.
but
So you want to take away freedoms on.
That's right. On 4th of July. I'm the 31st Amendment, no rights to bear fireworks.
But there's an opposite side to this too, though. Like even you may be taking away a freedom, but at the same time, like just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Make a little bit of more money so you can afford drones.
Listen,
Okay?
we are supposed to be the nation that is on the cusp of every innovation, ahead of technology. Drone shows are that. Let's get ahead of the curve here.
we're also the nation that is like, I feel like that is routinely proving though that like you get too many of us in a enclosed area to see something and violence happens. Like it's supposed to be a family affair. And it's not going to be that if it gets too late in the show, late in the night.
I'll say this too. Like, I know of a friend's a friend who a neighbor's house burnt down because of someone else's fireworks. They weren't even at home when it happened.
Maybe a good thing that they weren't at home?
Probably. I mean,
Well, yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. Not great. Like I think the thing is that you should have to go somewhere to see fireworks. Like in the sense that
so you are taking freedoms away out too. Can't do it in your
yeah.
backyard.
Okay, so think about this. Like remember how everyone would drive to Ohio to get fireworks because you couldn't buy fireworks in Michigan?
Yes.
Go back to that.
Yeah.
Go back to those days because we didn't have all these like pop-up firework shows.
Yeah.
So like I'm for the communal experience of like, oh, everybody's getting together at the beach because the beach is doing fireworks.
Right.
Yes. Good. Great.
So like prohibition for fireworks is what we're like. You gotta like cross state lines.
Well, you know,
Just leave.
it's not going
fireworks
to prevent the
professionals.
bootleggers. Like let the bootleggers do it. Let the bootleggers do it. So
You can have all the sparklers and snakes that you want, but let the professionals handle the fireworks.
yes. Yes.
Listen, I'm not opposed. Like
Snakes.
because I've gone to like a couple of like fireworks shows that have been done by like a city, and those are usually fun. The only gripe that I have about those is like I kind of want to have a place to sit, and I kind of want to be able to get back to my car without potentially losing a child.
Yeah. Laser Mouse has a good point, though. He says it was more fun when your uncle's sketchy fireworks show was not only dangerous but also illegal. Like that's cool, right?
Like everything had to be let off at one time because it was just like we have to let all these off and get rid of the evidence before the cops get here.
Yes.
I will say, in fireworks defense, like 4th of July at my up north cottage as a kid was magical.
Elite. Yeah.
Like fireworks over a community lake where just like all of the cabins are firing off fireworks. It had its moment in my childhood. I'm over it now because I'm old, but
I think like a realistic conversation probably does need to start happening about like, should we continue to allow people to do this at their homes? Like people that have like, again, I was lighting fireworks and the realization dawned on me that like, wait, I've never actually done this.
do we need fireworks licenses?
Okay.
Do you need to take firework class?
Yeah. Like, do you need to take a class?
Are we having a town hall right now? What's going on?
Do we treat it like a driver's license, a firework license that you just have to like?
You have to renew it. You have to
I was gonna
take
say
a
like
class.
take an online course, but like
You gotta take a course to like carry a firearm, but yet you can like literally buy some fireworks like in the parking lot of Target, take those at your house and light them. Like,
I think also the point in my life where I became kind of anti-firework was just I was on Twitter and saw Jason Pierre-Paul's hand.
ooh.
Like that shouldn't have ever been allowed on the internet. I was like, oh, firework did that? Nope.
I think for me, it's the fact that it happens every year to somebody. And like to your point about like somebody's house burning down because of someone else's fireworks, like
yeah, like the collateral damage.
That would be the
yeah.
Like that would be the final straw where it's like, okay, yeah, we can't do these because I don't know. I think for a long time my thought process was like this stuff happens because people are just irresponsible. But I've also like been at my parents where we've let off fireworks and things just happen, right? Like things fall over, things shoot out the way that you thought they would, but then for some reason or another it curves. And it's just like the realization of us having this conversation right now is like, oh yeah, and none of us are prepared for like if this goes left.
Literally.
Also, they do not put clear enough directions on fireworks. So like I think that's also another issue of like the number of times like I only lit off a couple, but I think it was probably my first one that I was getting ready to light off and I was like, wait, where's the wick and how am I supposed to like where do things shoot out from? And that should have been the first telltale sign of like, yeah, like everyday people shouldn't be allowed to do this. You probably should need a license.
Or maybe regulate the fireworks more. These are all, we should run for office is what I'm saying, on Fireworks First platform.
fireworks.
Sponsored by Pride of Detroit. It's our
We're
initiative.
We're anti. This is an
Okay,
interesting platform we're running.
The branding
on.
needs to change a little bit.
We need to bury that, like in the initiatives list.
Yeah, but I saw 0 fireworks all weekend because, as someone pointed out, I left for Canada the day after Canada Day, and I returned home to the United States the day after 4th of July. So I missed all of the fun, but it was a very enjoyable getaway.
But you came back to a house not on fire, so like
I did.
Everything went fine.
And I apparently missed all the crazy storms that Michigan had in 90.
I'm glad that I missed the heat that you guys had, which is crazy to say because I was in Florida, and the fact that you guys, I've been able to gather, like you guys were at death's door. It felt like.
What? Like, I mean, there were warnings for 3 straight days about like make sure you check on young and elderly people.
It's wild.
And
he lost. Yeah, crazy power outages everywhere. I know Eric was without power for most of the weekend and was kind of expecting a long haul. Thankfully, he got his back yesterday.
Losing your power.
That was like 90% of the emails I came back to for work. It was like all the power outages that were happening.
Yeah. It was a few days, but even like today isn't as bad as those other days, but like even today it's like it's hot outside. Like it's hot outside.
Yeah.
It's just like unseasonably warm. Like when this started, like it being in June, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just go down to Florida for like a week. You'll come back and you'll appreciate this heat. Because like I walked outside today and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, well, it's different.
I didn't have to walk outside and immediately have sweat on my body.
There are a lot of things you learn to appreciate after a trip to Florida. I'll just leave it at that. Jason, thank you for the 34 months. Says it's my Zach Zenner anniversary. Go Loins. By the way,
Zach Zeniversary is very good.
Because Zenner was brought up, I will say like I'm mildly enjoying his current like career as a social media influencer. Like he's offering some
like fitness stuff.
He's offering fitness stuff, some health stuff, yeah, some parenting stuff. I don't agree with everything he's saying, but I think in general he's level-headed and not some of these like crazy shirtless people in the grocery store influencers.
He's above that corporate money.
That's right.
Him and who is the very wholesome follow on NBA Twitter is, I think it's Michael Redd. I don't know if you remember Michael Redd. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's on Twitter and now he's just like a super positive fan, but also will talk about things in a very like basketball level-headed way. He has these really long posts that he does, but then he'll talk about things that aren't basketball. Like he'll talk about soccer and be like, man, that was an incredible soccer match. Like give like his own like analysis or take on it, but it's always just like a positive thing where it doesn't seem like it's not like Magic Johnson on Twitter. You know, like Magic Johnson's tweets are like they almost seem like they were written by a corporation.
Like they're written by Michigan State?
Yeah. Or he'll just have a random tweet where he'll be like, the Carolina Hurricanes are a great hockey team. It's like they're on their way to their like 3rd Stanley Cup. And it's like, what? Who wrote this? Like
it comes across as the guy that just like walked in the room that just wants to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but you're Magic Johnson. You don't have to talk about this.
You don't have to weigh in on this. Yeah, Michael Redd though, like he's a good follow too. I highly recommend checking him out.
Nice. Austin Mammoth with the 46 months says Keck Jamble. Facts. 46 months.
46 months. Jack Campbell.
No. Keck Jamble.
Don't say that again.
You guys got some hot soccer takes you want to get out before the USA match?
Not a single one. Let's do this soccer.
Let's do. I've enjoyed it. That's for sure. I did want to share one fantasy football thing that I saw. I will throw it in the chat if I can find it. But it was a fantasy football punishment at like somebody's 4th of July parade.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a float for the loser, and he was sitting on like a flatbed with like a sign that was draped over the side of it that said like "I suck at fantasy football," and he was in a chair that he was like had to sit in, and the only thing he had was a tennis racket. And his friends were walking along the sides with water balloons, and people were throwing water balloons at him, and the only thing he had to defend it with was the tennis racket. So he wasn't even really swinging at it. He was just kind of like hunched over, and like people were like they're handing him out to kids, and kids are running up and throwing. Even like older people were like, "Hold on, I'll grab 2." And they're like launching them at him.
There's a reason why, you know, like Renaissance festivals always have like the throw the tomato at the, like, people just love being able to throw things at a person.
100%.
Of all ages.
100%. Yeah, people can get behind that pretty easily. So
I don't have any real thing pulling me back to fantasy football, but I do get a lot of joy out of creative ways to punish the loser.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like the Waffle House 12 hours, but every pancake you eat or waffle you eat takes an hour off. Like,
yeah,
that's great. Fun. I know that's not like that creative at this point, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
this is very creative.
That's why I got such a kick out of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that will make me like bow out of a fantasy football league more than like someone being like, "Hey, so this is the punishment for the loser," because it's like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been a part of a fantasy league that does like not just the winner gets the money, but like the loser gets punished?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't trust anybody that I've done fantasy football with enough to come up with something that's not going to like have me ready to fight you afterwards.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm in one where if it wasn't like a win-loss, like worse in the league kind of thing, but it was a side bet that somebody had, and it was in the playoffs, and somebody was like, "I guarantee I beat you," and it was like a 2-week matchup. He's like, I guarantee I beat you, and my buddy was like, "Well, like, loser has to do what?" And it was like polar plunge in the St. Clair River. So it was like, okay. Then all of a sudden, like, the stakes were high, and like the group chat was like littered with way more text messages because everybody's involved, right?
Yep.
Like, that's the big thing, is like just get engagement and like let's talk about it and have fun. So,
all right, let's do it.
It would have to be something like.
What'd you say?
So let's do it with Pick'em this year.
With the
staff Pick'em,
the Survivor League.
No,
make it kind of like a Survivor League.
I suck at Survivor.
Do you suck at Survivor?
I've never been good at Survivor.
How far have you gotten?
I feel like week 5. Like, I don't play every year, but I swear my system makes sense, which is like don't try to get creative early. Just early on, pick the teams that you're like literally the most confident in because you don't have a lot of information.
And if you lose, you're out. So you might as well. Yeah.
Yes. And so just survive, pick huge favorites. Mm-hmm. And then, like, once you know more about all these teams, then you can maybe pick some of these. And it never works.
That's a great strategy. I can't believe that hasn't gotten you into
I know! I just, like, I always somehow happen to pick the wrong 13-point favorite. That's what happens.
You get skunked by, like, a double-digit underdog every year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's why you would not enjoy sports gambling.
That's why I don't sports gamble.
Yeah, Jeremy, I'm pretty sure like if we did do it with Pick'em or like Tally site, like half the staff isn't participating.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a punishment we could do that would actually get people excited to do it and not like.
I think the
absolutely
polar
not.
plunge thing is kind of funny.
That's
Like,
pretty good.
Polar plunge one was pretty good. We had another one too where
What? Here's a relatively low stakes one.
yeah.
Loser of the Pick'em League in Pride of Detroit has to write an article about something they were wrong about. Why I was wrong about blank.
Okay, okay, that's good. Can I suggest that they have to write about a time which every other person in the league was right?
Are you talking like a 10 article series?
Like that's the that's the punishment. Is that it's like
That's a lot of work.
knowledge every time.
No, I like that idea though, of being like, I don't know why, but I just wanted a moment where is it Billy Madison? You're smart, I'm
Yes.
dumb.
You were right. I was wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be just like a nice article to write in general.
Sure.
Keep you humble
Yeah.
by writing an article showing how humble you are.
25 bits from Captain James Kirk says, why don't we focus on Movember commitments before adding fantasy football punishments? Silence.
Like,
I'm willing to start my up downs starting next week.
yeah, I can get my miles out of the way.
I'll start eating nuggets whenever. Give me a date.
Do you want
And
to
I
do
will eat the nuggets.
accountability week next week?
Do I have anything on the schedule? No.
Actually, yeah, let me do this before I have to like actually need my body to move stuff into my new house. So like, yeah, let me go run this
All right.
before I'm no longer useful.
So let's tentatively plan, and I'm going to try to knock out as many things that we have to do. So obviously we have the 3 ones that were related to Lions player performance. I have to do 100 up downs. Ryan has to eat 100 McNuggets, and Miko has to run 5 miles.
5.
I also have to play disc golf in a Macho Man Randy Savage outfit. I have to play Counter-Strike, a game I've never played, with Graham Glasgow at some point.
That'll be fun.
Eric and I need to jump into the stands of Ford Field, or attempt to jump into the stands of Ford Field. That one, I don't know if I can get lined up by next week, but it's something I still need to do.
But you know what we can do? Monday, July 13th. Nuggets. Miles. Up downs.
Yeah.
Those can all get done.
Yeah.
Like buy the right?
Yeah, you have
'Cause
to
I
like
can't-
somehow
I-
log. You're not going to do them obviously during the show. I don't think you want to
Oh,
like
I thought he was
podcast
going
from
to
your
live
phone
stream on his phone.
while he's podcasting.
I mean, I can't podcast and do that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So, like, how many does Miko have to just run all those by that date then?
I mean, theoretically on one day, and live stream at least some of it,
Yeah.
or record it in some sort of way that we can upload somewhere.
Maybe stitch together a couple of videos. Like,
Sure.
here's
You're-
Miko before the race. Here's Miko during the race. Here's Miko after the race, kind of thing.
Here's Miko in ICU. Yeah.
Or how many? You have to run how many miles?
5.
And it's because of Jameson Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should give us just an update every mile.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It'll probably be like a TikTok thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Okay. And I'll just bring 100 nuggets with me on Monday, July 13th.
Yeah.
Let me find like the fattest place I can run to. That's like 5 miles away, so I can like.
Okay, yeah. I also have to go shopping in yoga pants, grocery shopping. Ryan also needs to start a Jared Goff somewhere in public. Jared Goff chant somewhere in public. And then we also still need to do that 30-inch pizza challenge, which I need to reach out.
That one I am looking forward.
We need to reach out to Thompson's Pizza and make sure that they actually are still doing it.
Okay, so
don't they only do that in like October though?
That is
we have
what
to
it
call
said,
and ask them about that. Yeah, it's going to be free advertising for them. They should be able to make a pie for us. Come on, just got to be a bigger pizza, right?
No, the pizza's already like massive. Like we're going to struggle.
Oh yeah, no, it's not going to be easy because we can only have 4, right?
Yeah, and we might have to do this.
Teams
we might have to just do this with 3.
3.
It's only 3.
It is only 3. But I don't. The thing is, I don't know if this still exists. Like MLive did a story on it in 2019. We tried the Monster Pizza Challenge. It didn't end well.
Yeah, but I saw someone do it. I think the video I sent you guys of someone doing it was like last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the TikTok video I sent you guys of someone doing it, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, at some point we'll call that. So, yeah, those are the ones that we still have to do.
And how far is Dave's Hot Chicken from me?
I can. Oh, they did Morgan send you that like Happy Meal thing that they have?
Who?
For like that Dave's Hot Chicken.
Oh no.
No.
It's they have like X-Men. It's like the X-Men 97 figures.
Oh.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going and I need to. He's like, I figured you'd probably want to see this. I've never been there before, so I might need to go for the first time now. But I can also, I think I know where I'm going to start my Jared Goff chant, and I know I can do it before the end of July.
Are you going to tell us, or is it going to be a surprise?
I'm just going to record a video, and then I'm going to surprise drop it. But I'll get it done before training camp starts.
Okay, so you're not going to tell us where you're going to do it.
No, but it'll be in a public space.
Okay. With people, right? You're not just going to do it
with people. I'm not going to, no.
You're not going to technicality us.
No, I won't do that. I won't do that to the crap. I won't do that to the, I won't do that to the loyal people out there.
Okay. I think we got plans in place here then.
All right. Now just to be accountable.
Now just actually do the thing.
5 pounds of dough, 3 pounds of cheese, lots of sauce, 3 pounds of toppings, limit 30 minutes. $50.
We get to pick the toppings, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I might just run to Dave's Hot Chicken and then run back. It'll be over 5 miles, but
You're an overcommitter, an overachiever. Should have done Jared Goff chant outside of Taylor Swift's wedding. It's pretty good.
I can tell you what, it's something I shouldn't care about. But I do. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I got into an argument with a 9-year-old this weekend about Taylor Swift.
What? I need to hear why. Like, why do you care?
Why do I care about her wedding?
Yeah.
Well, the one is like, why do I care?
Yeah.
Like, I have to deal with Adam Schefter tweet notifications about like the wedding lineup. Don't. It's not your job. It's not your job. None of this is anybody's job.
When you live in a world where you can get paid for tweeting, engagement is key.
Where you can shut down one of the most busiest places in the world. Like how many block radius was it?
I don't know. I didn't pay any attention to any of that. All I know is Adam Sandler was like the officiant. That's literally the only thing I know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so corny and like all of the whatever. Anyways, so long story short, we're on the way to fireworks and I'm like, any song requests? And she wanted a Taylor Swift song. And I was like, I don't play Taylor Swift in my car. So I turned on Miley Cyrus Party in the USA and I was like, this is better and closer, so it's fine. And it's more of the time.
Patriotic?
Right?
Party
Yes.
in the USA, I
Party
suppose.
in the USA. I mean, that's what we're literally doing. So, but yeah, no, I was like, I fundamentally disagree with Taylor Swift and how she lives her life and what she does. So I don't play Taylor Swift in my car. Even my wife was like, you could just said no.
Let me ask you a question, Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you play Kanye West in your car?
Segment 2.
Speaking of Kanye, he was actually at, I think he was at Epcot or Magic Kingdom the day after we were there.
The day after you were there?
Yeah, like I was like scrolling TikTok and I was like, wait, people are saying that Kanye West is at Epcot. And I was just like, huh. and it definitely was. And I was like, that, I would have loved to have just been able to walk by him without acknowledging him at all. Like without being one of the people that are like, oh, I'm trying to get a picture. I'm like, move. just
like
space.
bump a shoulder into him.
Yeah, just get the hell out of my way.
I think what might have been most impressive to see that day is to see every time I see a picture of him out in public, he's wearing what looks to be like the heaviest set of clothes I've ever seen a human walk around in. And I would want to have known like what he was wearing through balmy Florida.
It was one of those things where it was just like, this would not have been a magical day for me. Like, this would not have been a magical day for me. The minute I'd have seen people running, like the thing that, like, I think this is the part that would have pissed me off, is that I would have been at that park and people would have been running and I'd be like, oh, one of the rides are probably like up and like they probably have a short time. And then to get there and be like, oh, it's Kanye West. Like, you bastards.
or good consequence, it distracts people from the rides.
Oh, yeah, or that.
Yeah. I like that. Let's go with that. All right, one more alert, and then I think we should jump into the second segment here. HSW with the 17 months says, Ryan, you got to practice. Repeat after me. Jared Goff, Jared Goff, Jared Goff.
How long do I need to do that for?
I think you have to start one so other people have to contribute. Otherwise, you're just a crazy person yelling in the store. Like, you at least got to get one other person to like.
Okay, so
join.
that's it. I have to get at least one other person
that can't be related to you
50
or be paid by
minutes.
you or know you.
Yeah, right. Go until we join. Yeah. All right. I'm going to get at least a chant isn't 2 people. I feel like a chant has to be 3. So like I'm doing it. I know you were, but like I'll be fair. Like myself, another person, a third like that is a chant. Like people are chanting if you have like 3 people in the crowd.
I guess
but one person is a lunatic. To Miko's point, one person running around chanting Jared Goff, that guy has been served too much. 2 people doing it, well, he just has an accomplice. 3 people, now it's kind of coordinated.
But here's the thing. You looking like a madman for a full straight minute chanting Jared Goff with no one joining in, that's almost the ideal scenario to me.
Well, yeah, because you want to see a punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the whole idea of
this. Extreme Wheel of Pain. Yeah.
That's why I think this has less to do with people joining in and more to do with you embarrassing yourself.
Oh, in that case, like, you should have to do it you should have to do it like at an Ulta or something. Like somewhere where like no one actually is going to contribute. And people are going to wonder why you're doing it in the first place.
I'm going to need some clarity on it then.
I think time limit should be I think it needs to be at least 30 seconds, which doesn't sound like that long, but I promise
30 seconds
you,
is a long time.
being in that moment is going to feel like 2, 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Well, to you, maybe. To most people, I think. But, like,
Yeah.
I have slowly developed an ability, like, as a teacher, to just sit in silence. Like, if I ask a question, like, being comfortable with that silence, there's a big level of being uncomfortable and, like, wanting to say something to fill up the air. I can sit, but it's different because it's chanting.
Yeah. Which is why I think it needs to be somewhere where like if you go to Meyer and you do it in like the section where there is lion stuff, like no one's gonna look at you weird. You go to Sephora where there's not a lion's thing in sight.
I'll tell you, I'm probably gonna do it. I'm going to do it at either it's going to be at like a bar type setting.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I feel like tonight would have been the perfect time to do it then.
I still got time. The plan is that I'll have time to do that, baby. But I think that's the best place where I could probably incite people to chant something.
Yeah. What if you get booed?
Yeah.
If I get booed, I'm going to laugh maniacally. That would be the best response.
You do have to record it, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That was gonna be easy. But like, I would love for someone to just be like, "Sit the F down." Somebody recording me getting thrown out by a couple of guys.
I feel like if that's the response you get, you have to like say something in defense of Jared Goff, at least as a rebuttal.
No, the only thing you're gonna see is me being on camera. See, told you this would happen. I'm being assaulted.
It's gonna be great
for you.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Segment 2.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's do it. Oh, let me change the title here.
Did we do this for the first time last year?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And welcome back to the Pride of Detroit PODcast. And here in segment 2, we are going to be ranking the NFC North rosters. We did this for the first time last year where we basically went position group by position group and kind of just talked about where the NFC or how the NFC stacks up team by team. And in this week, we're going to be focused on skill positions. Like I said before the break, that includes quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. I kind of feel like tight end should be included here, but we didn't. So they're not included. I guess we're going to bunch them in with offensive line.
Yeah, there's only so many you can do in one show. I think three is a lot, so just felt like the natural. Yeah, you can fit tight ends with offensive line. That fits in a way.
Yeah, they put their hand in the dirt sometime.
Yeah.
And plus we have how many more weeks until training camp? So we'll take our time.
Stretching out the content. Yeah, right. We're maximizing our time. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this. And I think where else better to start than with the quarterback position? Jeremy, how about you kick us off with just like the layout of the quarterback groups in the NFC North?
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see where your guys' rankings are for this position in particular, because I think in general we should be taking the entire room into account. But with quarterbacks, I feel like it's more just about your QB1. Like, obviously, you'd love to have a good QB2, but we're talking about Teddy Bridgewater, J.J. McCarthy, Tyrod Taylor, and Tyson Bagent. There's varying degrees of success amongst those quarterbacks, but this is more about the number ones, Jared Goff, presumably Kyler Murray in Minnesota, Jordan Love in Green Bay, and Caleb Williams in Chicago. Do you want me to run off my personal rankings here?
Yeah, let's see how you have them slotted right now.
Let's start at the bottom. I'm assuming we all agree that the Vikings are probably worst in the division. There might be a little bit of disagreement there, but I'm not so convinced that Kyler Murray is the answer in Minnesota. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy, the fact that even Kyler Murray is on the roster is not good news for J.J. McCarthy. I don't know. I think some of the standard statistics makes Kyler Murray look a little bit better than maybe you'd think, but in general, I just don't think the decision-making is there, and I am very curious how that will clash with a very smart, very complicated coach like Kevin O'Connell. So I have the Vikings last. I have the Bears next. Caleb Williams had a big step season last year, but he is still very much comfortably third behind, I think, Love and Goff. Where I think you can see this the most is looking at completion percentage over expected, like basically an accuracy stat. Jordan Love led the NFC North with plus 3.8. Goff was at plus 1.6. Caleb Williams was negative 6.9 completion percentage over expected, which was dead last in the NFL. So like we all got hypnotized by the big plays he made with his legs. We all got hypnotized by some of the incredible throws that he made. But in between those incredible plays, he was the least accurate quarterback in the NFL. It's not close. I then have Jordan Love and the Packers at the 2 spot. I think him and Goff are honestly closer than maybe Lions fans are willing to admit. But I think the thing that puts Goff over the top for me and puts the Lions in the 1 spot here are 2 things. One is that Jared Goff has been doing it for longer under more coordinators with different receivers. He's lifted up a good receiver group. He's lifted up a coordinator that wasn't so good last year. I think we're past all he's a Sean McVay, Ben Johnson merchant, and he's just a good, stable quarterback. And then the other thing is turnover-worthy plays, which I think is something that Goff doesn't get enough credit for. He avoids them. He was tied for first amongst quarterbacks with 300 or more dropbacks with just 2.0% turnover-worthy plays, according to PFF. So his avoidance of bad plays is something that I don't think he gets enough credit for, while we kind of overemphasize the explosive plays, the exciting plays, the highlight reel plays.
Ryan, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement that I have the Vikings and Kyler Murray at 4th. I do think that there is more negative feelings towards that than I think there should be more optimism, I think is what I'm trying to say. Like, I do think that there is a potential that you're talking about a guy who was a former number 1 overall pick who showed flashes in Arizona, and now he gets to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. That's a pretty big opportunity. Like, I think we can all definitively say that if it doesn't work in Minnesota, then it's over for Kyler Murray. But if there was somebody in the league who I would want Kyler Murray to get that last opportunity with, it's probably a guy like Kevin O'Connell. So, yeah, I mean, put me in Diana Rossini's car. Yeah, like the Vikings quarterback sucks. If it's not Kyler Murray. So, number three is Caleb Williams. I know that may come as a shock to some people who listen to the podcast and know that I don't think much of Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback who undeservedly has been given that job. But Caleb Williams is just a guy who that's probably, and in all seriousness, guys, I think that is the most interesting storyline to me in the NFL that isn't Lions related. To me personally, it's just, what does Caleb Williams do in a year where everybody expects this should be even better than the year before, right? Like, I don't know if there's enough to Caleb Williams' game to suggest to me that he's going to clean up the things that he needs to clean up. And it's like the easy throws that he should be making. It's those throws that he doesn't make that I'm wondering if he can truly clean those up, because those seem like plays almost any quarterback in the NFL can make. It's the plays that he makes that other players cannot make that has earned him the admiration that he's gotten around the league. So I'm very fascinated with Caleb Williams in year 3. But I do have Jordan Love at number 2, and I do have Jared Goff at number 1, but I think it's really close. Like, I really think that those two players could be interchangeable to me, just because while Jordan Love, I don't think he doesn't have the quarterback je ne sais quoi that Jared Goff has, that's so like essential to the position, that he'll make the right decision even though it's the end of a drive, right? He'll make the play. And I know we made fun and joked around how he basically ran out of bounds on a 4th down play, but
4 years ago.
yeah, on a team that wasn't accomplishing anything, right? So, but like Jared Goff has the quarterback awareness that Jordan Love has at times, and that's what makes him so magical, is because it's like QB awareness lining up with physical capabilities and arm strength, and some of the throws he makes are absolutely insane, right? Yep. But that's also his Achilles heel, in my opinion, is when he tries to throw a YOLO ball, or he tries to fit something in a tight window, and it's like, well, you could have just took the thing that a quarterback like Jared Goff would take, and he would take 5 yards to live another down, rather than, Christian Watson, 35 yards downfield. I think the way that you frame it, Jeremy, with Jared, and this is the last thing I want to say about this, is that like Jared does the job for his playmakers, right? Like he more oftentimes than not, he lets his playmakers shine. I don't think that Jordan Love does that enough for his guys in like a weird roundabout way, because I don't know how I can necessarily justify the years after years after years of people talking about the Packers' talent at the skill level positions and being like, they have so many wide receiver 2s. It's like they really have 2 wide receiver 1s on their team, and there is talent in Green Bay. Like Tucker Kraft, if he's healthy, he might be the best tight end in an NFC North that is absolutely loaded with tight end talent, right? They're paying Christian Watson like they think he's a guy. They drafted Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, but just he hasn't done enough consistently to let those guys shine in the way that I think they should shine. Where I think that Jared Goff does a good enough job of like letting his playmakers shine, because he more oftentimes than not gets them the ball and lets them make plays. So that's why I have Jared Goff number 1.
I'll speed through at least the first 2, because we all have the bottom 2 the same. Minnesota is at the bottom for me, and it's almost as simple as the fact of like they're the only team of the 4 that actually have a quarterback competition.
Yeah.
Like we don't know who's going to be the starter. We all probably are leaning one way more so than the other, but until things kind of kick off week 1, like Minnesota's the worst because they have not yet decided on who's going to be the starting quarterback week 1. And I don't know, and I don't necessarily know for sure that whoever is the starting quarterback week 1 is the quarterback in week 18. Like, it's very possible that either guy could win the job coming out of camp and the other guy be finishing the season for the team.
How many times have we seen the Minnesota Vikings go to like a 3rd quarterback, though? You know what I mean? Like the Josh Dobbs, the Nick Mullins of the world, right? Like, who knows if the guys who are battling right now will be there in the end.
Well, and I think that's the thing that's funny. Like, I know Jeremy was talking about like how we're mostly just focused on like the starting quarterback. Minnesota and probably Chicago are like the only 2 teams where like the depth kind of matters, because it's just like you just said, the Vikings have on multiple seasons had to go to QB3 for one reason or another. So the fact that they are probably the team that probably has the quote unquote deepest, but still probably the quote unquote most questionable quarterback room when you look at Murray, McCarthy, and Carson Wentz. Like, sure, all of those guys have played in the NFL and won games. All of them are also like so close to being just discarded forever.
I would trust Tyson Bagent more than I would trust JJ McCarthy right now.
Sure, I would probably argue that I would probably trust Case Keenum more than I would trust JJ McCarthy right now. Like,
Fair.
There's an argument to be made there.
Teddy Bridgewater is the best Minnesota Viking quarterback in the NFC North.
I don't think
arguably the most successful, right? But when it comes, so I think where I differ is that you guys both said that you guys feel like Jared Goff and Jordan Love are closer than people think. I almost feel like the opposite is, or I feel like the thing that is more true when it talks about when I'm looking at Jordan Love and Caleb Williams, where it is a little bit of projection with Caleb Williams, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, if Caleb Williams can actually kind of get things together in like doing the little things and talking about like the short passing, if he actually can get on like time with his receivers and things like that, he's just as good, if not better, than Jordan Love in that situation, in my opinion. And I think he's a couple of mechanical things away from being, to me, still would probably be like the second best quarterback in the NFC North. And I'll get to why, again, we're all kind of in agreement of having Jared Goff number one. But Ryan, something that you said that like Jordan Love doesn't do well, that I think Caleb Williams does do well, is like he does allow his playmakers to shine. Like, we're talking about Rome Odunze and Luther Burden and Colston Loveland being like these up and coming playmakers, in large part because of some of the things that their quarterback is doing. It's not just their raw talent; it is a good marriage between the two. But until Caleb Williams shows that progression and absolutely starts to kind of have just more consistent play for me, he does have to stay third for me. Whereas Jordan Love gets to move up to two, because I think Jordan Love is a more accurate representation of what everyone says, or like every negative thing that people think about Jared Goff is more true, in my opinion, of Jordan Love, where it's like, well, he's just the guy that like makes everything work. It's not super flashy or anything like that, but it's like, he's good enough for you. And that's how I feel about Jordan Love, is that like, if Green Bay could move on to someone better and more like explosive for their offense, they would, or more consistent. But it's like, he's just a guy that kind of just seems to make things work. And it's like, there's nothing about him, in my opinion, that's like has him anywhere where I look at him as anywhere close to like a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Really?
Whereas, yeah, I like the fact that Ryan, as much as Ryan jokes about Malik Willis being more deserving of that starting job, I don't think you can say that about a starting quarterback, that you're like, no, that's a top 10 talent, and be like, but also like their backup is probably just as liable to be the starting quarterback and would probably operate this offense just as well, if not better.
I just wonder what the drop off from Jordan Love to Malik Willis would be. I think it's a fair question to even think about what that would have been like on like in a big sample size. I mean, we got some of it in that year where Jordan Love missed extended time and Malik Willis played, and the Packers were just fine.
And so, like, I'm not as impressed as clearly as you guys are. Like, I'm not as impressed with Jordan Love, and I don't think it's as close between him and Jared Goff. I do think there is a decent size gap between them. Not saying like I will agree when we talk about like arm talent, mobility, all of those things, but when it comes down to just like playing quarterback, the reason why Jared Goff is number one to me is because he plays the position consistently and like at a high level week to week, more so than the others do. And he's been doing it season after season, to everything that you guys said, under different coordinators. Even when the offense doesn't look like it should be working or isn't working properly, he's still operating at a high level. Does he still do like things that I don't like? Sure. But when it comes down to just being efficient, which is essentially kind of where like I've kind of resigned myself to, and I think a number of Lions fans have, it's just like, is he Is he Josh Allen? Is he Lamar Jackson? Is he Patrick Mahomes? No. But he's the guy that's going to go out there and season after season put up over 4,000 passing yards, over 30 touchdowns, going to keep the interceptions to a reasonable place where you're kind of happy with them. And this offense is going to continue to function at a high level, mainly because he's so steady. So for me, that's why I have Jared Goff as one.
I'm not making the argument here that Jordan Love is the number one quarterback in the NFC North, but I do think it's close because not just because I think Love can do some things that obviously Goff can't, but I think even if you look at some of the advanced stats of how these quarterbacks have played, like last year alone, Love was well above Goff in completion percentage over expected. He was ahead of Goff in EPA per dropback. He was way ahead of Jared Goff in terms of PFF grade. I mean, Jordan Love was the number 3 quarterback per PFF. And I know it's not the end all be all, but like there's plenty of evidence out there that Love is a good down to down quarterback who makes accurate throws, who makes generally good decisions. I'll agree with you, Ryan, that there are some big moments where Jordan Love lost him the game, right? Like he made a dumb decision. I think you can go back, 2 or 3 years in the playoffs where, I think, was it the Cowboys? No, it must have been the 49ers. 49ers.
It was the 49ers.
They always listen to the 49ers.
Yeah, it was the night before, yeah.
But
2023.
I think he has been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in football over the past few years. So is Jared Goff, to be clear. But I think Jordan Love is, like, in terms of most efficiency metrics, we are talking about a top 10 quarterback without a doubt and like bordering on top 5.
Jordan Love, top 5 quarterback?
In terms of efficiency numbers, that is true.
Oh,
okay. I mean, if we're talking, like, I'm not going to sit here and like argue and say like the statistics don't point to that, but it's like we've all watched him play, and it's just like it's not one of those things where like I walk away and drastically impressed or feel like there's a reason why when the Lions do play the Packers, where like I do kind of expect them to be that much farther ahead because I think that they have the better quarterback, and I don't think it's relatively close. And it's equally frustrating when I'm watching Jordan Love have so much time in the pocket to like throw and to make plays down the field, and the secondary isn't there. So like there's just a number of things that I look at where I'm just like I don't think it's relatively close when it comes down to their like execution of things. I understand that like technically, yes, they are both equally efficient. I'm not saying, and that's the reason why he's 2 and not 4. Like I'm not saying he's a terrible quarterback. I just don't think it's relatively close between those two.
I did think it. I do think it's close between those two. Like I did say that, but I also think that there's just a steadiness to Jared Goff's game that Jordan Love doesn't have all the time.
All right.
And I think that for me is a reason, like puts a bigger gap between them than maybe other people would. Like steadiness at the quarterback position should be like
top 5. I don't know. We got to move on to.
I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. Let me be clear. I'm just saying some of the efficiency metrics show him as that. Whether you do EPA, DVOA, success rate, like he's there.
Yeah. I think he kind of seems a little bit of a numbers darling, because then I also see him. Remember the rainy game in Lambeau when Brian Branch got ejected?
Yeah. Yep.
Remember how many just boneheaded plays Jordan Love made, where it just seemed like a comedy of errors?
Sure.
And everybody leading up to that game, and I know I think he had the ankle thing going on or whatever. He was coming back from that injury, but everybody circled that game. They're like, Jared Goff in inclement weather, how's he going to play? Jared Goff was steady as a rock, dude. And like
it goes back to what I said though. It goes back to why I said like I think Jordan Love is a more accurate representation of what people negatively say about Jared Goff. Like it's kind of a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Running backs?
Yeah, how about you kick us off with running backs?
Okay. Well, running backs I think is I know we talked about quarterbacks, and it feels like you have to just kind of tie that down as who has the best starting quarterback. The depth matters a lot at running back, and I had a hard time weighing this with, well, the top guy versus the depth and how much that needs to be made up. But I did put the Vikings at last, and I feel like I had to put them at last because I just don't know if you can trust Aaron Jones. Like, I just don't know if you can put that much on Jordan Mason's plate, if he can be like a top guy all year long. I know that there's numbers to suggest that he could be a really good number 2. It's just with having a running back who you don't know their availability from week to week in Aaron Jones, and plus, I mean, how old is Aaron Jones at this point?
31.
So
he will be 31.
He's 39 in running back years.
Right.
I have to put them 4th. So I have the Vikings at 4th. And then I'm gonna put the Packers at 3rd. Is that wild to say? I feel like some people are gonna put the Packers at 2nd just because Josh Jacobs is okay. Well,
I got him 4th.
You have the Packers at why? Better that you talk about why you have the Packers at 4th.
Because they don't have any backup plan for who I think is the second best running back in the division, Josh Jacobs, who also very much might be in legal trouble. Let's not forget that he was arrested on domestic violence charges. Now, they haven't filed those. He's been released from prison. They haven't filed those charges, but like, he could very well face prison time, or, you know, we don't know where that is going, and I don't want to speculate on where that's going, but that is something that Packers fans are talking about. And what do they have behind him?
Yeah,
Chris Brooks.
That's a big question mark.
Chris Brooks has 82 career carries. Marshawn Lloyd has 6. Pierre Strong has 99, but was on the practice squad pretty much all last year. You do not have an answer to to Josh Jacobs getting suspended. I do think he's the second best running back in the division, but there's a very real chance he misses time, whether or not, you know, police even pursue charges on him.
Yeah, I think that was the difference I had between 4 and 3, was that if Josh Jacobs is playing football, he's the second best running back in the division.
Yeah.
And that is so far and ahead of part-time available running back Aaron Jones and who Jordan Mason could be. So that's probably why I had them in that order. But
yeah.
I agree. Like but I even think making that point of second best running back in the division, but what else do you have beyond that?
Yeah.
So Miko, are those 3 and 4, or do you have the Bears in there?
Yeah, no, those are 3 and 4 for me. So mine's are probably the same as Jeremy, where I have the Packers at 4, and it's for that reason, where it's like, yes, the top guy is the second best running back in the division, but like, it's a
hasn't worked out with Marshawn Lloyd because of injuries, you know, even though they drafted him, I think, relatively high.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, like, I mean, I'm sure Packer fans are like, why it was probably so important for them to keep, why am I blanking on the guy that they lost in free agency? But like, that was their only other productive running back behind Josh Jacobs last season. So it's like, you went from that to just like, you're putting all your chips in on Josh Jacobs. And then Aaron Jones, it's very much everything that you said, where it's like, I don't think I can rely on Aaron Jones for a full season. And an offense that's probably already going to struggle at the quarterback position, like, that's a big deal.
I mean, that's really tough when you're putting your quarterbacks in that position where you don't really have to be too worried about what they can do on the ground. But I think Jordan Mason is he's a solid enough running back.
He might be the best RB2 in the league, in the division, not in the league. In the division.
Now that David Montgomery's gone, for sure. I think that argument can be made. But at number 2, I do have the Bears. I think that there might be a little bit of a case for Monangai to claim that RB2 throne, as far as the best RB2 in the NFC North. But I have the Lions at 1 because Jahmyr Gibbs, we just got done talking about him being a top 10 player in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think the gap between him being the number one running back in the division, and if we agree that Josh Jacobs is the second best running back in the division, that gap is so sizable. Like,
Yeah.
There's a pretty big gap between those. So like, while there are question marks about Pacheco, there may even be for some reason, maybe some question marks about Jahmyr Gibbs' ability to be a quote unquote bell cow back, even though I think that he was kind of a bell cow back last season. I think you're going to be able to count on Pacheco / Vaki / Jacob Sailors to not give you what Dave Montgomery gave you at RB2, but in terms of keeping the workload not too out of whack. We're not talking about like an insane amount of touches for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Jeremy.
You have the Bears number one.
I don't. No. But I think it's very close. I do think it's very close, and I think we as Lions fans have an obligation to admit that DeAndre Swift is still kind of good.
No, DeAndre Swift is solid. Would you say he's the third best?
Yes, without question. I think he's the third best running back in the division. And let me throw some stats on you. He was fourth in rush EPA last year, 12th in success rate, and the biggest knock on DeAndre Swift over his Lions career was what? Durability, and he's missed 2 total games in the last 3 years combined.
Well, either durability or not being able to find the hole.
Right, and I think he's improved on a lot of that. And I think the reason why the Bears are close is because I think they have the closest thing to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery with Monangai, because Monangai, 783 rushing yards last year, 4.65 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. Like, he was giving, like, that leads the team on some teams, 783 rushing yards.
Well, I mean, I think the Kyle Monangai moment I remember from last season. Remember that game against the Eagles where the Eagles needed to win to give the Lions a chance in the playoffs for better. Oh my gosh.
that was Black Friday game,
Kyle
right?
Monangai ended that game because his physicality was like blasted off the screen.
Right.
He's incredible. He's awesome.
There is part of me that is nervous that the Lions aren't relying on that 1-2 punch as much anymore. I liked having that in Detroit. I understand it was also very much a luxury to have, and being able to pay David Montgomery and give him the amount of snaps that he wanted was probably untenable, and I think the Lions did the right thing getting a pretty decent haul for him and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, there's part of me that wonders if Jahmyr Gibbs is going to hold up for an entire season as, you know, the guy getting 70% of the workload. And obviously, like you said, Isaiah Pacheco has a lot of questions, but I think it ultimately comes down to, hey, you have the second best running back in the league, according to several NFL executives. You have a guy that can play every single down. You have a guy that can play in every situation. As Dan Campbell said, like, any scheme, any running style, inside, outside, receiving, like, he literally does it all on a level that's, as you said, like, not close to anyone else in the division. So I still have to put the Lions first, but I think the Bears are very close to a 1B situation.
Yeah, it's very close for me. Like, Bears Lions, it is a 1B to me, because I don't know. We're talking about groups, and if it's hard for me to just say, like, one Jahmyr Gibbs is so much better than having the 1-2 punch of a Swift Monangai. Like,
I can.
And where things are kind of like,
Jahmyr Gibbs is so good.
It is, like, but like, it's just like, because if we're talking about like who has the better running back room, it's like, well, I do like the fact that the Bears, like, I'm with Jeremy in the sense that I like having the 1-2 punch. I like knowing that you don't have to just rely on one guy to do everything. Where I am still leaning towards the Lions, like, literally edging out the Bears by inches, is like, I am very optimistic that Isaiah Pacheco is going to return at least somewhat to form. And maybe he can't do everything that David Montgomery did, but it's enough to where if he can match Monangai's numbers, I think we would all be like, hey, that's a good season.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right?
People would be thrilled with that. The Lions won the trade.
Right. Like, over 750 rushing yards, about 6 or 7 touchdowns. Like, no one's going to be mad about the Isaiah Pacheco signing. And that's kind of what I'm banking on, because after that, I feel like you get into a lot of wishful thinking. Like, I don't know if we talk about the loss of Craig Reynolds enough. And maybe we shouldn't, because it's too painful. But like, I look at this running back group on paper and it's like, I would really love that to say Reynolds before Vaki. I would feel so much better about this running back room if
Really?
it said
You're
Reynolds before
that invested in RB3 though? Like, I'm fine with
Yeah,
RB3
because
just being a special teams dude, honestly.
because like it's again knocking on wood and being very hopeful, prayerful, whatever you want to call it, that like Jahmyr Gibbs does not take on additional wear and tear by taking on more of the load. But then it's also looking at Isaiah Pacheco and being like, okay, with his running style, can he not get banged up? And it's the simple fact that like either one of those guys getting banged up and you're that much closer to a Sione Vaki being your guy. I don't know how many years ago it was, but like there were a couple years ago before where it's like the Lions lost both running backs, and then it was like, oh, Craig Reynolds has to kind of
Yeah. Is that Tampa Bay game,
be the
right?
guy for yeah. And it's just like there was a level of like confidence though in Craig at that point where like I don't know if I have that same confidence in Sione just yet.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, they could go to Craig to Jacob Sailors before trusting Vaki on offense. And I don't know how much of a downgrade that is from Craig Reynolds. Like, I don't know. Offensively speaking, I don't know if Craig Reynolds was anything special as an RB3. He wasn't terrible, but he was fine.
I mean, like I appreciated, like, are we talking splashy numbers? No, but like going out there doing a job, being impactful.
Sure.
Like,
Well, I don't know if there was too much like flash to Craig's game, right? But like in the sense that could you count on him for like 3 yards on a carry? Yeah. Like,
Behind that offensive line, though.
so here's my thing is that when it comes to Jahmyr's wear and tear, I look at third down and I just want to know who are they going to have in there to pass block? Like, I know they're going to have Jahmyr in there sometimes, but maybe they'll go pony set and maybe they'll have 2 running backs out there because Isaiah Pacheco can pass block.
True.
Right? If Sione Vaki wants to take a step and get more playing time, I bet you pass blocking will help a ton for me to feel comfortable.
Oh,
and that takes more off Jahmyr's plate from a physicality standpoint. So I think maybe when you get to RB3, that's what I'm looking for, like specialized stuff like that. You know, pass catching back, pass blocking back. I think you have to just look at 1 and 2 though, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I talked about him being Barry Sanders earlier. Like, give that guy the ball all the time. I don't care. He's the best running back. He might be the best running back in the NFL.
That's why I said it's weird, because we're supposed to be talking about groups, but like I think we all are at the point where it's like, yeah, but this one guy,
but Superman
can
do everything.
Everybody else is
right.
Yeah, and it just feels weird to say that, because like we're going to talk about wide receivers here in a second, and like one of these teams has a guy that you could almost do the same thing with.
Yeah,
Let's transition to that. I think unless there's something else you guys want to say at running back.
I just had a question for you guys, like, because we just talked about the gap between where the Lions and the Bears are at in terms of running backs. Do you think that there's a bigger or smaller gap than what is going on at quarterback when you're talking about
Lions
Jared Goff and Jordan Love?
Yeah, I think it's closer at running back, but they're both very close.
Yeah, same.
Okay, I think it might be closer at quarterback. Okay.
All
Wide
right.
receivers?
Well, yeah, let's talk wide receivers. Jeremy, how do you have the wide receiver groups kind of ranked out?
I'll go from last to first again. I think I have to have the Bears last. They've invested obviously heavily in the position, but there's just so much hope on Rome Odunze and Luther Burden taking big steps. And even Xavier Thomas, I think he was a 3rd round pick this year. Like, they're relying on so much youth to take the next step. And I get it. Like, it's not just their progression as going from a college player to the NFL. It's also the progression of learning the offense, right? That's something that not only he has to learn, but even going back to the conversation at quarterback, that's something that Caleb Williams has to develop. We talked about Ben Johnson's offense for so many years here about how everything was timing and how routes had to be precise and all those sort of things. And Rome Odunze and Luther Burden still have to prove it. Go out there and do it. Neither guy had more than 700 yards last year. The guy who led the team in receiving yards amongst the wideouts was DJ Moore, who is no longer on the team.
The Buffalo Bills.
Yes, he had 1,100 snaps that they have to replace. And yes, I'm sure Luther Burden is going to get a lot more. He had less than 500 last year. I'm sure Odunze will get some of that. And then what, are you going to give it to a 32-year-old Khalif Raymond, or are you going to give it to a rookie Xavier Thomas? I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. It could look awesome. Those are two guys in Odunze and Burden with a ton of raw talent. But whether it like actually becomes the players that they drafted in terms of their draft spot, I can't sit here and say for sure that it's going to happen.
Hot take: Luther Burden's the best wide receiver on that team, and I don't know how close it is. Like Rome Odunze, I am very concerned about this foot injury. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have read about this foot injury, but like it's a stress fracture that he suffered, and they asked him questions about it, and he said, "Well, it's a new normal. Like I have to play with this.
Oh,
like
so
this is just how my foot is."
Kirby Joseph-esque.
Essentially, yes. Now, like not as serious because it's your foot and versus your knee, and I think it's more a matter of like kind of maybe in the Frank Ragnow realm of things, right? Where it's like, how do we pain management this thing? But that's very concerning. Like, I don't know about like talent wise, like Rome Odunze, an incredible talent, but I do think that I would sell my Rome Odunze stock and buy Luther Burden stock. Cause I think that's fair. The way that I also hear Ben Johnson talking about Luther Burden is like, oh, I don't think Ben Johnson's here to blow smoke up anybody.
Not his style. Where do you guys have the Bears?
I have the Bears at 4th.
Same, but like I was gonna say, for me, it's funny how like one player changes this, because if we're talking about DJ Moore still being on this team, they're probably at 3 for me.
Does that mean everyone has the Packers at 3?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
I was gonna say I think it'll be interesting to look at these lists after we also consider when we talk about tight ends, right? Like tight ends matter so much here, right?
Right. The Bears might jump to the top of the conversation if we include tight ends, right?
Yeah.
And that's fair to point out, although we'll highlight it obviously more next week.
For sure. So yeah, we should talk about that once we rank tight ends, and then give like a hybrid quick list or something.
Sure.
But my number 3, who's your number 3, Miko?
Packers.
Yeah. Packers. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the Packers, Jeremy?
I do.
Okay. Then it's 3 for 3.
Okay.
For number 3. Yeah.
Why don't you talk about the Packers receivers?
I don't believe in Christian Watson. It's nothing personal. It's not that he was somebody who I think a lot of Lions fans wanted in that draft. Was it 2022? You know, the talks about him pass blocking and the role he played in North Dakota State and being the big play threat. I'm so happy the Detroit Lions have Jameson Williams from that draft class instead of Christian Watson. Like there's the headache about whether or not he's going to be 100%. They give him this contract, but also that contract is very like, do it now. Because if you don't do it now, there's outs for us kind of deal. So like Christian Watson has plenty to prove. So I do feel like this is a huge year for him.
No doubt.
But as far as number ones in this division, even with what I said about Rome Odunze, like I think that I'd rather take either Rome Odunze or Luther Burden versus Christian Watson. But I do have the Packers at 3 because I do think Jaden Reed is really good.
I do too. I think he's their number one.
That's just, same. Wow. So it's like a redo of like last year where there was so much quarterback controversy. But Jaden Reed is legit talented. And I thought that like if Jaden Reed could have got a bigger opportunity to go somewhere else, he would be. I think Jaden Reed could be a number one on some teams in the NFL, but that's where I think the Packers have an advantage. I think Matthew Golden is kind of a big wild card.
No doubt.
Right, he needs to take a big step. So I do think that I think the Packers ceiling might be 2. Like, I don't know if they could jump both the teams ahead of them, but I do think that depending on what Matthew Golden does, he could really even create like a bigger gap between 4 and 3 and a big gap between 2 and 3, maybe even. Like, I believe in Jaden Reed. I just don't know about Watson, and Golden is this unknown as well to me. So,
yeah. Is 2 where things get dicey for everybody, or did anybody do the same thing that we did with Jahmyr Gibbs? Because
I don't think it's
I'll
like
be
that.
honest.
To be quite honest,
I was going to say, because I don't think it's that clean cut, because I will objectively say that I think Justin Jefferson is the second best wide receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I will just as loudly say that I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is the third. And because they are literally like neck and neck with each other, I'm still having the Vikings slotted at 2 because I can't trust Jordan Addison to make a good decision a day in his life that doesn't require like staying under the speed limit. But also I think just as much like I think what the Lions have in Jamison Williams and Isaac TeSlaa is just that much better than what the Vikings have in Addison and Jennings.
I don't think this is
Vikings I do have the Vikings at 1.
I do have the Vikings at 1. And it's very, very close, obviously. And so what I did is just I compared their 1s, I compared their 2s, and I compared their 3s. And I think Justin Jefferson is better than Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Jamison Williams is better than Jordan Addison. And I think Juwan Jennings is better than Isaac TeSlaa. Simple as that. Juwan Jennings is a legit wide receiver 3. He would be a wide receiver 2 on most teams. He has a 900-yard season, for Christ's sake. Like, and if you want to bring up character concerns from the outside looking in, like, I don't know if Jamison Williams has less red flags than Jordan Addison.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he does.
Come on.
Suspended for 2 different things.
Wasn't Jordan Addison suspended twice for the same thing?
For the same thing.
So?
Okay.
So you don't learn from the same mistakes. Like,
yeah.
No.
Oh, hey, I was speeding home because my dog was having an emergency. And then get caught speeding again.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if we're throwing stones in a glass, we're throwing stones in a glass house here.
No,
if we're just
Jameson
saying,
Williams has shown
their
so
bad
much
guy,
growth
their
from,
guy with suspensions is trouble. Our guy with suspensions is not trouble. That's silly.
When was the last time Jameson Williams, quote unquote, got in trouble?
2 years ago.
Like suspended. Yeah, I mean Jordan Addison was like last year, right?
Oh, okay, that means everything.
But I think the big thing was that there was this maturity that happened with Jameson Williams that
Listen,
we
I'm not
we are
concerned.
removed from it.
I'm not concerned about Jameson Williams. Let me be clear. I'm not.
Good, because I'm still concerned about Jordan Addison. So that's why I thought the comparison was wild to me, because I was like, I am much more concerned about Jordan Addison going forward than I am Jameson Williams and the situation that he's at least involved with. At least his, I don't know if our head coach of our football team was sending text messages to Diana Rossini, but it seems like there may be some crazy things that are going on in Minnesota versus in Detroit. So, I personally, though, I think the reason that I have the Lions number 1 is because I'm buying Isaac TeSlaa hype. I really am. I'm buying into it big time. So I think that Amon-Ra, which I don't have as high as Miko, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is like a top 7 wide receiver, like perpetually. I don't know necessarily how high he can get, but I don't think he can like drop out of the top 10. Justin Jefferson is you can either have Ja'Marr Chase number 1 or you can have Justin Jefferson number 1, and I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't feel the same way about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can hear other arguments about other players, whether it's even somebody like Devonta Smith, right? Like you're stuck with Jalen Hurts. You know, I think that the situation matters so much for the wide receiver.
No doubt.
And Justin Jefferson's going through it currently,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So that part is tough too. But I think Jamison Williams is the best wide receiver too in maybe the NFL. I think there's an argument to be made about him being the best wide receiver too. If he went, I think that you could play a game as fun. Maybe we can do this real quick after the podcast, but like go through the other 31 teams. Who would he not be wide receiver 2 on?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teams in the league. Jamison Williams would be the number 2 wide receiver.
I still want to see a little bit more down-to-down consistency with him because obviously the big plays are huge and explosive and meaningful and all that. But like there's still the occasional drop or miss route or just head scratcher with Jared Goff. But he's improved every single year, both in terms of his maturity and his on-field play. And there's no reason to believe at his age that he can't continue to get better. And I also want to say, since some people in the chat are calling him out, if I ever insinuated or outright said a second ago that Jamison Williams has been arrested, that is factually untrue. He hasn't.
I don't think you said that.
Okay.
No, you didn't say that. I think people were just assuming the fact that you were saying that they both had issues.
Right.
And
well,
people are basically doing the thing where people are
he
doing
was
the
in the
thing where,
backseat
like, an arrest is
on a cop car, but he wasn't arrested.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to be clear that is obviously not what I am saying.
Yeah. I do want to second 2 things that Ryan said. One, the Isaac Tislaw thing, because I think that is the deciding factor. Like, I'm not arguing that Juwan Jennings is a more accomplished receiver in his NFL career, but like I do think we're going to see more opportunities for Tislaw this upcoming season, and I hope there's a lot of, again, projection and hoping that he kind of grows into that Josh Reynolds type role where we're going to get to see him on just seeing him targeted more consistently than we did a season ago. And Jamison Williams being the best wide receiver 2 in the NFL, I think is something that if we're not there already, like we probably will be by the end of next season. And in all honesty, like I think the only competition even a season ago was like whether or not he was better than Devontae Smith.
T. Higgins?
The Eagles had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So like that might be like, and I will, in the same way that Ryan will hear arguments about other receivers being better than Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would like T. Higgins would probably be the only other guy that I'm like, okay, like, yeah, probably better than J-Mo. And just because he can do more things. But like, I do want to at least explain, because I know people are going to be like, Miko said that Amon-Ra St. Brown is the 3rd best receiver. I am kind of like finally giving up on the whole thing of like, I need my receiver to be over 6 feet tall for him to be like considered a top 3 receiver. Because like, in all honesty, like I was kind of holding that against Amon-Ra for a few years, where it's just like, I like CD Brown. I like CD better because I like CD Lamb better because he's over 6'3", like, or is 6'3".
I still think like Juwan Jennings is the thing that tips the scale for me. And I understand that J-Mo is, I'm not going to word this particularly well. J-Mo is more better than Jordan Addison, than Justin Jefferson is better than Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Like the difference between J-Mo and Jordan Addison, I think, is larger than the difference between Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra.
Well, yeah. Can I just highlight that? Because like Jordan Addison had 911 yards and 70 catches in his rookie season and 10 touchdowns, all great. Everything has gone down since.
Yeah.
He had 610 yards last year on 42 catches and had 3 touchdowns.
Fewer
like,
games,
it's not even
obviously
close
because of the suspension, but
I know, but he averaged like 14.5 yards a catch. That's great too, but it's not 17 Aaron shots.
Right. Just get your shots in. But I just think in the same way that I'm holding back expectations for the Packers and the Bears for their young players taking a year 2 or 3 jump, I can't give the Lions credit for Isaac Tislaw taking a year 2 jump before I see it. And I think I'm just using Juwan Jennings as a tiebreaker. Like that is a really solid, if not, best in the league wide receiver 3. And I think he's going to get more opportunities than Tislaw will in Detroit, because I think Laporte is way better than Hockenson. I think The Lions are going to get Gibbs involved in the receiving game, whereas I'm not sure how much the Vikings plan on using a 31-year-old Aaron Jones in the passing game. So I just think the opportunities are going to be there for Juwan Jennings. Again, if you want to include the tight ends, it might change the conversation here a little bit. I think it might tip the scales back in the Lions' favor, but I think if we're just talking purely wide receivers, I like the Vikings just a tad better.
This is a new gimmick for Jeremy, by the way, Miko. Liking an ex-San Francisco 49ers football player that comes to the NFC North. He was big on Jordan Mason when the Jordan Mason thing happened. Now it's Juwan Jennings.
I was waiting for him to just start to show his purple and gold, because like he couldn't really champion the Vikings with the first two position groups.
For anything else, yeah.
Bad. He finally had an opportunity. He's like, this is my time to shine.
There's nothing I can do. Like if I ever give the Vikings even a little bit of credit, it's oh my god, you love the Vikings. I had them last and third, and then first.
Yeah, you had to.
You guys are just the homers that put the Lions in first every category.
I did. Go Lions.
Yeah, but this is also a Lions podcast. Like we have to.
We don't have to do anything, Miko.
A little bit.
I'm bringing some fair and balanced takes here. I will admit, some of my JMO comments were probably a little out of pocket there, but
yeah, I just to also mention that Jordan Addison was cited for going 140 in a 55 mile per hour zone at 3 a.m. in 2023. In 2024, it was the DUI where he was asleep, blocking lanes of traffic with his car. And then in January of 2026, he was arrested on trespassing charge.
So three things. Okay,
that's
so
three for three
wrong.
for Jordan Addison.
So you know what? Jeremy admitted to being wrong about some things. I'm wrong because I said that Jordan Addison was arrested for the same thing twice. He's been arrested for 3 different things.
Well, 3 different. 2. Well, yeah, whatever. I don't like going down this like moral compass of like who's more immoral than the other. Like we're comparing crimes, not crimes. Sorry.
And you know what? Jameson Williams was lighting fireworks, so we need to use that to knock him after our conversation in the break.
Carried a gun without a proper permit.
He lives in Detroit. That's what he told the cop. Remember?
Yeah.
Don't you know where I live? Reviews? We don't have any, but we are getting more.
We don't.
Just no like written reviews.
Yes, more ratings. Yeah. Not more reviews. And that's fine too.
We're now up to 9. Yeah, which is still great. We're up to 975. So again, 25 away from our goal, with still a few weeks before the season, or still a few months before the season starts, or a month before the season starts. A couple months. I'm losing track of time. There we go. So yeah, if you guys haven't left a review and you would like to, head over to Apple Podcasts, leave a review. We will make sure to read it here on the podcast and give you a nice little shout out, because again, you guys taking the time to support us, it's a really cool way for us to kind of give back to you guys a little bit. So continue to kind of help us get to that goal. I think we're a little bit close. We're well over 19,000 subscribers over on YouTube, which we would also like to get to 20,000 before the season starts. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. It makes it so much easier for you guys to just find out when we're live if you do that. So, Jeremy, any other news or any other updates that the audience should be aware of?
Yeah, no midweek mailbag this week, both on the podcast feed and PODD. Eric and I couldn't get a schedule that works out for both of us, so we will have a PODD 4-hour-ish mailbag next week. But for Pride of Detroit direct subscribers, we will have content for you, video content for you this week, as Ryan and I are going to start an NFC North kind of preview with some NFC North guests that you probably know that kind of, I think, should supplement this podcast really well. Like maybe they have very differing opinions on their quarterback, their wide receiver, their running back, and we'll get to the bottom of all that.
Yeah, we'll tell them all about our rankings and ask them if they agree or not.
All right. Well, with all that said, guys, if you were looking for any more additional Lions content, you can find that over at the Pride of Detroit website, over at prideofdetroit.com. And like always, if you would like to watch this podcast or watch this live stream, all you have to do is head over to youtube.com/prideofdetroit or twitch.tv/prideofdetroit as well. We really do appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch. With all that said, I'm Miko. He's Ryan. He's Jeremy. Thanks for taking the time to watch and listen, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Boop. Okay. A couple alerts here, and then we can chat for a little bit or get out of here. I know USMNT starts in what, 22-ish minutes? Or
Yep.
yeah, they don't really lie
Yes.
about the starting time like every other sporting league.
It's the best thing about soccer, if I'm being honest. Like it is done in a
timeliness of it
timely
all.
fashion.
It really is. Although people are mad about the hydration breaks.
I love how they're upset about like one stoppage when watch a football game in September
Right.
and be like,
And
oh
not
wow, we
lose
had
your mind.
4 commercial breaks before the end of the first quarter.
The clashing of like sports cultures is really interesting in this moment because I agree with you there completely, but like the amount of like, if I was a soccer fan and every 4 years a bunch of football fans try to fix my sport, I'd just be like, shut the hell up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're not involved in this on a regular enough basis, right? But I think they have a lot of it. They have a lot of stuff figured out.
Yeah, I think so.
Like it's funny that the biggest controversy has been replay.
Sure. Oh, I mean,
But,
is
like,
that's
an ongoing thing. Like that's just, I mean,
right
it's obviously
with every
yeah.
sport.
with every sport.
I'm telling you, like it started as kind of like a sarcastic take, but I'm getting like deeper and deeper into the, hey, let's just get rid of instant replay and rely on imperfect refs. Because this perfection that you're chasing is never going to be there. And the frustration is only building as you have more tools at your disposal that should get you closer to perfection, but doesn't seem to be.
Do you know, I think what has worked best in baseball this year is the challenge system. I love
It's
that
true.
because it's like there's a
yeah.
strike zone and the ball knows exactly where it crosses strike zone and it's quick and it happens like that. You don't miss any, you're not wasting any time. It's perfect.
The reason baseball has it perfect is because they've understood that you can only, like, there are black and white things, and that's the only thing that should be up for debate. Don't bring in holdings, don't bring in pass interferences, don't bring in like all these things. There's and baseball is also like super predictable where the action is going to be happening, right? Like there's very clear angles of balls and strikes. There's very clear angles of safe or out.
You can have cameras fixed that tell you exactly
Yes.
where the ball crossed. Yeah.
The only controversies you ever run into in baseball seemingly are catch or not catch, like trapping it. Did it hit the ground or did it not hit the ground?
Oh yeah, as far as that, yeah. Or it's like a replay at first base if somebody beat out a throw or those things. But like you can
I guess
pretty
check
much
swings too, yeah.
those are pretty cut and dry. I think those replays for the most part.
Yeah.
They don't take very long though either. Like I feel like baseball
incredible.
reviews happen pretty expeditiously. So like, but let me ask you then for baseball, like would you be pro or against like a complete robo ump? Like balls and strikes are automated.
I think I'm for it.
See, now you're running counter to what you just said. You wanted to get rid of replay. You
I
wanted
know.
just
I don't know.
refs.
I go back and forth because also like the tennis thing really has me like shook because I know like they've fully kind of adopted that in a way, right? Where like anything close, you have this replay, this virtual animation.
Unless
and like
you're
there's
on clay, which is crazy. So like, nope,
Right.
it's this mark right here.
right. And yeah, they've been wrong before. Like it doesn't happen very often, but it's wrong before. And so like if we're adopting the system assuming it's perfect but it's not, like what are we doing here? Are we
And
really
it's
getting
full
closer
time,
to perfection?
Right? That's
Right.
the problem. Yeah.
But I think the answer is like, yeah, you are getting closer to perfection. It's not perfect. You're like robots are never going to be perfect, but are they more accurate than humans? I think the answer is undeniably yes in baseball, at least.
I was gonna say when it comes to like umpiring, it feels like it is. Like I don't watch a ton of baseball, but the number of times that I have either like just stumbled across clips or just like videos on YouTube where it's like how egregious a a strike or ball call is,
Mm-hmm.
and like an umpire has the audacity to be like, no, that's a strike, and it's like, did you just like wake up on the wrong side of the bed and just like you just like hate this team?
Call a ball that goes like middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I'd be in favor of the robo ump thing because of the full time of it. Like you're relying on it to be right 100% of the time. But I do love the challenge system in baseball because it's quick, and if you lose them, then it's over. Like you lose one, you lose it, right?
It's also like
if you
a
win
skill.
it, you keep it. Yeah.
I kind of like that it's a skill to as a catcher to know when to challenge and not to challenge. Like that is a new skill that you need to unlock. That you need to like almost scout. Do you scout someone's accuracy on their pumps? On their ability to challenge calls?
You have to 100% be aware of it. So like it's just another part of strategy. And like I was thinking the other day, because like catchers want to frame pitches, right? Like,
right.
It was a ball, but bring it inside. What about catching it and bringing it out? And they call it a ball, and you're like, that was a strike. Like, so you can get away with a different kind of action. Like, that's interesting in and of it too.
You try to get the batter to challenge. Is that what you're saying? Like, I think I've heard it framed that way, where like if you want to try to frame a strike as a ball, like
as a ball, you could get the hitter to challenge it.
Yes. Yeah.
Or you could get the ump to be wrong and be like, nope, it's a strike. Like, yeah. No, I think the batter thing, that in and of it too.
I think just going back to like the larger conversation though here is like it's the gray area stuff where I think challenging has made things undeniably worse. Like and the US example where I think we're all kind of alluding to is kind of an example of it, where like it feels weird and wrong that you can challenge, or you're not challenging. I know it's being
protested.
Well,
is that what it is?
There's no challenging system in soccer, right? There's
VAR, which is like automated by the booth,
and so like being able to award a red card via replay seems wrong. In the same way that I don't like that technicals or flagrants are in the NBA, in the same way that I don't like how we tried pass interference in the NFL. Like there's no clear line that's being crossed, and when you put the whole idea of when you put anything in slow motion, it looks worse is also a very real
that's
thing.
what I wanted to ask you guys about is it's targeting with football, right? Like, is that the equivalent of what we're talking about?
I was going to say, I think that's probably the closest one, because targeting is, unless outside of like, people hitting or like who's the player that spit on somebody like on the first play of a game?
Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Spit on
like
Dak
outside
Prescott.
of like stuff. Yeah. But like targeting feels like a play that like, hey, if you
he spit second, by the way. Dak spit first, so replay also showed that.
Is that a Star Wars reference?
No, that's an actual thing.
I know it's true, but it's actual the whole like who shot first thing.
Han shot for yeah.
Yeah, but that is probably the closest to what you guys were talking about in the sense of like being able to go back and see like something that happens in like that's an actual football play that's happening live. If you can't call targeting, then like if you have to slow it down and be like, okay, well, did they lower their head? Are they looking at the ground? Like,
I don't know how slow shows intent. How does slow mo? That's
essentially what I was getting. Yeah. That's where I was getting at. I don't mind it in the NBA just because like flagrant fouls can look like in fast speed can look like they're unintentional, and then you're just like, actually, when I think about it, you didn't need to like tomahawk him in the face. Like you were going vert and then you decided down. Like, no.
I can think of a Brian Branch play that was like that.
The one he got ejected from in Green Bay?
No.
Oh.
It was a different one. Was it against? Oh man, it was recent. I think it was last season. So before he got injured, but he just went total sky high and then came down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, was that the Cowboys game?
If it was, that was also the game he got hurt in. But yeah.
Bears game?
Anyone in chat remember that?
I love
Oh,
Brian
yeah,
Bragg.
Bears.
Someone says Bears game.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, because it was on like a 4th down, right?
Kind of ringing a bell.
I
I remember
the like a 3rd or 4th down play, and it was like.
I remember the penalty Zadarius Smith got away with on Jordan Love.
I don't
I
remember.
don't know if you guys
either.
remember that play, but it was the Thursday. It was a Thursday night game after the live pod, Jeremy, where they ran the ball to kill time and burn another timeout, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. Yeah, Zadarius Smith got away with like a blatant penalty.
Yeah, but we were probably owed one.
I mean, regardless, yeah.
Sean Mullins, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Appreciate you. K Fletch, thank you for 34 months, says, what a list of names I have that wore 34 for my 34-month anniversary. Alex Anzalone.
James Stewart.
Kevin Jones, James Stewart, Kevin Smith, and Zach Center. Also, I'm in my 3rd trimester for Twitch Baby number 4. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thanks, K Fletch. Appreciate it. And we're caught up, which means we should probably get out of here since it's 7:50. Good to get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing, no live streaming for the rest of the week. Be on the lookout if you're a Pride of Detroit Direct subscriber for our first bite NFC North edition. I believe we are talking Chicago Bears first.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then over on the website, we just kicked off our Ranking the Lions roster from 90 to 1 series. That's doing 10 at a time. We're also continuing our player preview series where we kind of talk about one individual player and expectations for next year. That series is going on. We're going to have Bubble Watch before you know it. A lot coming to the website. So, as Miko always says, make sure you're following us on all the socials so that you can not miss anything. Anything coming to the YouTube page, Miko? You got another draft breakdown coming at some point?
If I could ever find some film on anybody else in the draft class,
Fair.
that would be awesome.
All right. Well, we'll keep looking, but appreciate everybody for hanging out. Anything else any of you guys want to say before we get out of here? That sounds like an
Go U.S. soccer team.
Go U.S. We'll see you guys next week.